Back with another big show at our home, away from home, live from the Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls. This is Fierce Fighting Championship 35, presented by Bet Openly. Hi, everyone. Blake O'Rulian alongside my right-hand man and the Fierce FC Amateur Bantamweight Champion, David Kim. Always good to be back in the Gem State, David.
Oh, I'm so excited to be in Idaho Falls. The drive up here was beautiful, and I think we're ready for some amazing fights.
Got a fun one in front of us. 11 fights, 4 professional, 7 amateur, and a major piece of this main card is the return of Fierce FC double champion Nasir Davis. Pro debut time tonight after arguably the fight of the year versus Jackson DeGray in July.
He is probably one of the top prospects we've ever seen fight in Utah, and now being up in Idaho, the future is looking really bright for this kid.
7-2 amateur career for him, and it took some time, but Deshaun Gray turns out to be the man to sign on the dotted line just 2 weeks ago. 3-1 in his amateur MMA career, undefeated in kickboxing and Muay Thai, a striker's delight in front of us later on the main card.
Yeah, I mean, they're pro debuts for both of them. One of them's going to be undefeated, one of them's going to lose, so we'll see who's the better man tonight.
Stacked card ahead of us here live at the Mountain America Center. For the first time tonight, we're going to say hello to our man, Jackson Hoops. We'll kick it to him.
Fierce fans, for those of you tuning into that pay-per-view, and for those of you in attendance here at the Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls, Idaho, welcome to Fierce Fighting Championship. Tonight's event, it is sanctioned by the Idaho State Athletic Commission with Commissioner Louis Stoddard in attendance. Dr. Cabot Murdoch is also cage-side this evening, along with timekeeper Mike Stone. The judges for the evening are Derek Supnet, Dan First, and Stephen Farragher. And the referees in charge when the fights begin will be Tyler Tomlinson and Dave Selyestead. Fierce fans, we are moments away from our very first fight of the evening, but at this time we ask that you please rise and remove your caps as we honor our country with the singing of our national anthem. Please welcome an extremely talented vocalist, Andrea Woodmansey.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Make some noise for Andrea Woodmansey. Wonderful. Fierce fans, we are now here for what you all came here to see. 22 mixed martial artists, 11 total fights for one Fierce Fighting Championship evening. So Fierce fans, let the fighters in the back know that you are here. Put your hands together and make some noise. Our first fight of the evening is sponsored by Gold's Gym Idaho Falls. A membership to the #1 fitness center in Idaho Falls gives you access to everything you need to transform your life. They have state-of-the-art amenities, a variety of classes, and the world's best trainers. Stop in and experience change with Gold's Gym Idaho Falls. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome our very first 2 fighters to the stage, James Prescott and then Harrison Chandler to the cage.
Third walk in a 5-month span. Here is James Prescott. David, steep one-way traffic in favor of him during the debut. Second fight, the roles reversed. Looking to get back to his winning ways with another fast turnaround here tonight.
It's amazing how active this guy has been over the past year. Obviously, being from One Hit MMA, which is a powerhouse in Layton, Utah, I'm really excited to see what he brings and the energy he has in the cage. He's very, very active and strong.
James Prescott, dominant when he's in the driver's seat. He totaled 1 minute and 58 seconds of control time in his debut back in June. It accounted for 89% of the fight. So more than anything, David, if he can get to his spots before Harrison Chandler, he might have some success here
He starts super duper hot, and he's very well rounded and just has a level of physicality. He's definitely an athlete. He's definitely going to show that tonight.
James Prescott, like you mentioned, likes to sling leather with velocity. He rung the bell of Maxwell Kreger in the first 9 seconds of the debut, leading to that submission win. We'll have to see how things fare here tonight, coming off of that 57-second loss versus Micah Murdoch. Also, another interesting point, David, he hasn't seen stools yet in his career. Both of his fights so far have ended in the first round.
Yeah, it's really difficult when you're that good like he is, because sometimes you haven't been to that second or third rounder in a championship fight. So it's really difficult to know until you're there. But I have a feeling like he's going to be pretty okay.
James Prescott out of One Hit MMA, one of two out of the Utah gym, traveling up north to Idaho Falls to kick off Fierce Fighting Championship 35. All right, first of two to debut here tonight is Harrison Chandler. David, 6 years ago, he decided he wanted to take a fight. All that culminates into walk number 1 for the local fighter.
Wow, that is a lot of time before your first fight, but I'm going to assume that that's going to make him very talented. He's probably going to be ready to go. If I recall, he's very versed in Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, kind of all those base martial arts that you need to be an essential fighter.
Yeah, those are the primary disciplines in which he's been working on over the years. 33 total Jiu-Jitsu matches over the past year, David. A 19-14 overall record, 14 of those wins by submission.
That's pretty good. I mean, honestly, that's almost like a high school wrestling season with, dozens and dozens of matches, a lot of competitive history. He's probably going to be ready to go in the cage tonight.
All right, first time tonight, let's go ahead and look at these two side by side for this amateur middleweight bout between Harrison Chandler and James Prescott. Prescott, 4-year senior at 28 years old, also will have the edge in height, standing 6'1". Chandler tipping the scales yesterday at 183.5 pounds. Prescott a pound heavier at 184.5 pounds. Chandler to make his debut, a little bit more tread on the other side with a record of 1-1 for James Prescott. First time with intros, here we go to Jackson Hopes.
Idaho Falls. This fight is an amateur middleweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Tyler Tomlinson. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 1 win and 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighed in at 184.5 pounds. Fighting out of One Hit MMA, hailing from Layton, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for James Prescott. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur, making his amateur debut. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighed in at 183.5 pounds. Fighting out of Pack Jiu-Jitsu, hailing from Rexburg, Idaho, by way of Sydney, Australia. Fierce fans, make some noise for Harrison Chandler.
First time for Harrison Chandler, strapped in the red gloves. James Prescott awaits opposite in the blue. This amateur middleweight bout is brought to you by Gold's Gym. Become the strongest version of you at Gold's Gym, an official sponsor of Fierce FC. Tyler Tomlinson, third man in the cage here tonight. One of 6 assignments here in Idaho Falls. Made the way up alongside plenty of other Utah fighters on this card.
We're already into the grappling, and we knew that about Prescott. He starts very quick.
Opens up with some immediacy. Chandler answers back. A couple teeps to the body. Stalemate in the middle.
Okay. Could be quite hectic your first time in there, but it looks like he's doing really good. Chandler is.
Calm and composed, catching the leg is Chandler, able to mat the Utah fighter, but back up to his feet is Prescott, now searching for a guillotine of his own.
Prescott, I'm sure he's wrestling Cole Faust and Garcia and all those people at one hit. Definitely talented in there.
James Prescott, both of his fights have ended via submission in the first round. Again, the debut was successful. The sophomore slate, not as much.
Yeah, this is where a lot of that jiu-jitsu is going to help. Oh, and he's back up to his feet.
All action out of the two. But staying composed so far is the debuter, David.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Chandler,
Prescott answers back and rings the bell once again, now searching.
So look at that wrestling right there. Has the front cradle, it's pulling him down. He's going to probably use that to get to a ground and pound position.
Prescott making his weight well known.
He has the Von Flute choke. Let's see if he can hold on to it. Now, it's really tough when they don't have their hands locked. You can kind of see that Chandler only has the one arm over his head, but he can still get this just with the shoulder pressure. Looks like he's trying to throw knees from the bottom a little bit. Maybe just get to half guard. Okay.
Harrison Chandler won 8 of his last 9 jiu-jitsu matches leading into this. Certainly felt the pressure of a Von Flue before. Might just be stuck at the moment, David.
Yeah, this is a kind of tricky position because on the one hand you feel like you can get up from there, but on the other hand, if you stay there too long, you might get choked out. And it looks like he lost the hand. Now he's just kind of grabbing different things, trying to come up.
We apologize for the timer. That was unable to start, so not exactly sure where we're at in terms of the round, but waning seconds have to be upon us.
Yeah, I'm sure the commission will help us out in a little bit.
Here the 10-second clapper go as James Prescott continues to lay his weight over the top of the local fighter.
I'm impressed. Prescott's hip pressure is so impressive. Just thrusting those hips forward, kind of grapevine the legs. He really has a lot of pressure on Chandler's chest right now, and he's just using that and, holding up.
I was talking to Fierce FC matchmaker Zach Partridge. He told me that as soon as he had lost to Micah Murdoch, when we're talking about James Prescott, he was in the gym that following Monday and immediately was asking for another fight. Again, like you said, David, been very, very active throughout 2024, specifically this second half.
Well, and, you want to see that out of your amateurs, honestly. You want to see them be active. A win or a loss, it doesn't matter. It's all experience in that cage. So props to him for getting back in there even after a loss.
Successful round 1 for James Prescott. Seeing stools for the first time in his career. David, what do you think might be going on in that corner over there between Mason Moyes as well as Mark Gonzalez?
I think that he's not doing anything wrong. He's actually doing the right thing. I think now that he's past the first round, though, we're going to really see and test his endurance and his ability to stay composed in those late rounds.
James Prescott saw a lot of wrestling in that first round. A white belt in jiu-jitsu, but as we have been talking about, does have submission threats as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could see it from the cradle to he had what we call a Japanese necktie where he gable grips the hand, the head and the arm, and almost choked him out from there, too.
Harrison Chandler had this in the scouting report that he's adapted well to the world of competition. Certainly seems to be doing so. Breathing through the mouth a little bit as they head into the top of the second frame. But nonetheless, like we've been talking about, David, spent a lot of time on bottom, but doesn't seem to be having any issue with it at this point.
No, he's definitely game. Oh, he's getting hit, though.
Brought back is Chandler. Prescott right back into his wheelhouse.
And Prescott's back on the head, trying to go for a guillotine or at least use it to advance position. But, Prescott's back into that position. See if Chandler can come up here. Oh.
Chandler working his way up right against the broadcast booth. Yeah. Mobilizing the hips well. Prescott trying to wrangle him back inside.
Yeah, I'd like to see Prescott kind of pull those hips back so it isn't kind of a game of scooting, but he's doing a good job now of controlling the cage. He's going back to that Von Flute choke. Let's see if he can finish it right here.
Prescott also being a little bit more intentional, controlling the legs, making sure to pin those down, have no extremities dealing or working against him in his offensive efforts.
Notice how Prescott's using his left arm to trap underneath the armpit. This is a really, really tight position. Just lost it, but he's still on top, using the cage now to kind of push off to keep that pressure. Got to watch for the... Oh, he's back up.
Back up and headhunting is Prescott, pushes his opposition away.
You'll notice that Prescott throws a lot of straight punches, and he's really hitting him with it. Versus Chandler, you know, the debuter, kind of swinging for the fences. That's a very natural reaction when it's your first time going. Got to build that muscle memory.
Prescott throwing some clubbing shots. Chandler now having some offense of his own, but back to the mat we go.
You hear Prescott's corner talking about the fatigue for the debut fighter. I would agree with that right now.
A little bit of gas, also the adrenaline dump. We talked about it a little bit last weekend as well, but that always seems to be something that debut fighters, they might hear about it, but they don't realize it until it actually comes in the cage.
I mean, it's a real factor. Even for my first fight, felt like I was going to die in there, and so you just got to become acclimated to fighting. And I've been very impressed with Chandler so far, and maybe he can turn this around. You never know.
Prescott searching to isolate that arm on the far side.
He has the Americana. Oh, nah, he's a little too high, and he's still in half guard, which makes it really difficult to finish. Notice how the wrist is not on the ground. The arm's kind of sticking up towards the head. Oh, and he just lost it right there.
Just about 10 seconds remaining in the second round of a possible 3.
Yeah, it looks like the Prescott has him pretty flat.
Also, tough spot to be right there in the center of the cage. Not a lot of cage space to work versus when you're up against the cage and you can use that to your advantage.
Oh, 100%. You know, jiu-jitsu's obviously a really good base for MMA, but it is a different sport. And you notice oftentimes when you have the ability to throw punches and to kind of wrestle a little bit more, sometimes people do get stuck in those positions because of the liability that they may face in the cage.
Over in the corner of Harrison Chandler, can't necessarily see the body language, but David, some might suggest maybe down 0-2 going into this third round, might need a finish.
Yeah, I definitely am not a judge. Grateful that I don't have that tough of a job, but I would probably say so myself if I was judging.
In that corner, are you preaching patience? Are you preaching urgency? What are you saying?
So for Prescott, I would definitely just keep doing what he's doing. If I'm the debuter, if I'm Chandler, I'm just giving it my best effort for the next 3 minutes. I'm leaving it all in there, especially because this is the first time, and it could, you never know. It could be the last time you do it. So give it your best shot for the next 3 minutes. We'll see how it goes.
Harrison Chandler out of Pack Jiu-Jitsu in Rexburg, Idaho. His teammate Spencer Woodland seems to be on a world tour right now of competition. I believe he's in Thailand at the moment, but had some success here at the Mountain America Center.
Oh, that was a great combination from both of those guys.
Slinging upstairs. Not as much grappling initiated early on here in round 3.
It just looks like Chandler's kind of leaning back a little bit too much, and Prescott's getting him on the end of his punch. Oh, that was a good slip, though.
Veteran-like closing of the distance, able to spill Chandler to the canvas once again with 2.5 minutes to work here in this third and final round.
Yeah, Chandler, I've actually been super duper impressed with him. I think it really is an experience thing. And Prescott, he's gone against some of the best people in Utah, and he trains with them day in and day out. For the Idaho fighter, I think just a little more experience would really help.
Again, 6 years of combat training up to this point for Harrison Chandler. Looks strong in a lot of situations here in this fight, but just currently short in terms of control time at the moment and taking a little bit more damage as well, David.
Yeah, I mean, experience is so great, obviously, and you can be a really tough person in the room, but it's just different when the lights are on you, when your friends and family are there, you're half naked in the cage. Like it's just a different feeling, and those differences really do make a big challenge for you when you're not used to it.
What do you make of a lot of bigger name professional fighters fully simulating fights in their camps as Prescott looks to lock up a limb?
Oh, he might have a straight armbar right there. Oh, let's see if he can go for it again. He's controlling it. From this position, he has actually 3 submissions. But he looks like he's holding onto the head, so now he's not going to be able to get that arm. But back to what you were saying, I think that it's very important to simulate the fight. If you do it too much, obviously it can lead to injury. Oh, and we have a reversal right here.
Strong reversal gets the Idaho crowd back in the palm of Harrison Chandler as he begins to pepper in shots from the top.
And this is exactly what he needed, leaving it all out there for that first bout. I love this.
Scores of spectators here in support of the Idaho fighter, now locking up a rear naked choke.
Yeah, from the
Tough
side.
spot positionally.
Oh, lost it.
As Prescott finds his way back up to the top.
Yeah, it's really difficult to get that rear naked choke without your hooks. That's why jiu-jitsu coaches always say position over submission. He's going back to the Americana, but once again, he's just not able to isolate that limb in the correct spot. The hand's coming up by the head, and it's going to make it tough.
10-second clapper goes in these final seconds of this first fight of the night. Back and forth, much more competitive, round number 3.
That was very impressive. And like I mentioned earlier, this is the first time you're doing this. This is a life-changing event for Mr. Chandler. He put on an amazing show. I was very impressed, but I'm going to assume, and we'll have to wait and see, Prescott probably won that fight.
All hangs in the balance of the judges. It was off screen, but Mason Moyes, one of his right-hand men over there at One Hit MMA, lifted him up in the air. It seems as though they believe they've gotten it done. All smiles on the side of James Prescott.
Wait, isn't Mason fighting tonight?
Mason Moyes, unfortunately, his opponent was injured, and so he'll be fighting on December 13th at the Masonic Temple.
Okay, I was like, wait, this is crazy. Okay, well, that makes sense.
And David, we haven't seen those scorecards yet, but Harrison Chandler, no reason to hang your head, stuck in there through a full 9 minutes. Not an easy test.
He looked awesome, honestly. I was very, very impressed with his performance. And like I said, I think that as far as skill level goes, he definitely showed that he's meant to be in the fierce cage. I think it's just first fight jitters. You haven't experienced these things and mixed the Muay Thai with the jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
Breathing heavily as well, certainly might have gassed out, but didn't show it in minutes 6 through 9. Looked really, really good in terms of the cardiovascular.
He definitely came back. It was awesome to watch. Very, very impressed with both of these performances.
No official score yet, but seems as though it's being suggested that James Prescott will move to 2-1. And after a loss like the one he had back in September, you gotta smile for someone like James Prescott, who didn't want to take any time off. He wanted to get right back in there and knew that he could turn his words into action.
That says a lot about a fighter, honestly, coming back from a loss, being in the gym that Monday morning or Monday evening and getting back to work. Good for him.
Still awaiting the scorecards. I will say this. Last week, Katie Phillips versus Lisa Holtz, that took a very long time. The reason for it, I now know, is that the printer ran out of ink to print out the official scorecard. So we were waiting for minutes on end. Andrew Boquette and I were saying, why is this taking so long? Maybe we might have the same situation going on right now.
Do we have an Office Depot by here? Walmart, maybe?
It seems as though we got those hot scorecards in hand. Jackson Hoops rounding his way back inside the cage as he gets into position. And we'll kick it inside to him. First decision of the night. Here's Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The referees score this contest 30-27, 29-28, and 30-27. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision, James Prescott.
Prescott, what a showing that was, my man. How you feeling?
Feeling so good, Blake. Thank you.
How did you feel in there? This was the first time that you've had to go into a second and third round. How was the cardiovascular state for you as you kept trudging through this fight?
I like it more. I'm always training for 3, hoping for 5 one day, but might as well just train for it now.
You know, going up against a guy like Harrison Chandler here in his hometown, was it weird being away from the state of Utah for the first time?
It was. Thank you to Zach for taking care of everybody, making sure we all got a good time out here. Couldn't do it any other way but fierce. They're so awesome, and I appreciate them.
For you, is there any specific part of you that wanted to get back in here as quickly as possible after that last performance?
Absolutely. I'm having a baby. My wonderful wife, Braylon, over there, is holding him right now inside. My other one's already out. He's 2 years old. And I wanted to get this done so I get back in there in March or so.
Cannot wait for it. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your winner, James Prescott.
Opa, Ome, Muti, Ik ben frei!
Hey Fierce fans, Kibble Davis here with Prime Labs. We are now the official lab testing partner for all of Fierce Fighting Championships fighters. We provide a combat trio for all fighters across the Wasatch Front, as well as if you want to get in the best shape, like one of your favorite fighters, we provide many comprehensive blood panels. All you have to do is click on the link or text 385-645-7400.
Whether you're a fighter or just someone that wants to take charge of their own care and looking to address a lack of sleep, fat gain, or even muscle growth, Prime Labs has different panels for all financial situations. So please shoot us a text at 385-645-7400, scan the QR code, or please go to the website and come check us out.
Scan the QR code on your screen right now for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. So James Prescott comes out on top, has a baby coming as well, so we're not going to see him for a little bit of time, able to come out with the victory before he bows out for a little bit of time, David.
I've been there, so I totally get it. But, you know, it's crazy how life can make fighting just so difficult. You know, you have a kid or you get a new job or all these different things. But like we've talked about before, that little voice comes back and it tells you you need to fight.
All right, we move from middleweight to featherweight. Without further ado, let's jump it back over to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Whole Shot Plumbing. Drawing on over 19 years of experience, Whole Shot Plumbing is ready to make sure that all of your pipes are working efficiently. Get the help you need to clear stubborn clogs in your drains and find complete plumbing solutions for other issues you may have. Don't get punched in the face by high prices. Call Whole Shot Plumbing today. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Zach Spritzer and then Michael Lazalde to the cage.
All right, first time in a long time, enter Zach Spritzer. David, 9 years away from the game, but claims it's been a long time coming to get back in there.
That is honestly inspiring as well as amazing. You know, the last time he fought, I can't even think. You know, Obama was president. I wonder who was champion. Jose Aldo might have been featherweight champion a really long time ago. And for MMA, a lot has changed in the past 10 years. So it's going to be really unique to see how he comes out, what skills he's developed over that time, and kind of see how he does at this point.
Zach Spritzer, former teammates began getting in trouble and or just left town, leaving him to train on his own, and then took a pause in the fight career to focus on family. But David, like you were talking about, February of 2016 was the last time he made the walk. First time outside of his home state of Montana as well.
That is crazy. It's so cool to see people, you know, fighting's a lifelong dream for some of these people, and it's just amazing to watch that, you know, even though you might have some setbacks along the way, you're still able to come back into the cage and do what you were meant to do. So really impressed by him. Oh, he's coming out sharp.
Spritzer, the heaviest he's ever been at 145 pounds. Interested to see how he faces opposite Michael Lazalde. All right, closing out the calendar year with his fourth fight of 2024. Back is Michael Lazalde. David, in the place in which he got his hand raised nearly 2 years ago, looking to replicate that success here tonight.
Watching the film on this guy, he comes out swinging. I have never seen such big swings from a fighter in a really long time. It's really refreshing, and it's going to be fun to watch tonight.
It's a constant cycle of unorthodox movement for Michael Lazalde. His first fight on a full camp since January of this year, 3 fights ago. It might be beneficial for him, David.
Yeah, and I think that, oftentimes when you're that athletic like he is, he moves constantly. I think it is really good to sharpen things up. For him to win tonight, I would really like to see him kind of throw more straight punches, kind of bring everything together, but still have that tenacity and all of that movement in his style that makes him dangerous.
All right, with that, let's go ahead and jump up on the tail of the tape for this amateur featherweight bout between Michael Lazalde and Zach Spritzer. Spritz, the older man at 31 years old, 5 years senior to his opposition here tonight. Lazalde will have the edge in height, standing 5'8". Both fighters tipping the scales well within the featherweight confines. Lazalde with a record of 1-3, Spritzer with a record of 2-4. And David, quite the contrast here. Someone who hasn't fought in nearly a decade versus a guy who's fought 4 times in a 12-month span. Going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is going to be very interesting. I am very interested to see how Zach handles kind of the, they call it ring rust or whatever, but he does look pretty game. Also, it looks like a style matchup that's going to be very explosive tonight.
All right, now for the intros, let's go to Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Whole Shot Plumbing. This fight is an amateur featherweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyusad. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner. Holding an amateur record of 2 wins and 4 losses. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighing at 144 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Dos Bros Combat Sports, hailing from Townsend, Montana. Fierce fans, make some noise for Zach the Magic Man Spritzer! And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 1 win and 3 losses. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighing at 145 pounds. Fighting out of Guerrilla Unit MMA, hailing from Idaho Falls, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for Michael Lazalde!
Michael Lazalde rocking the red gloves, 8-year layoff for Zach Spritzer in the blue. This amateur featherweight bout is brought to you by Whole Shot Plumbing, servicing water heaters, sewer lines, and backed by secure warranties. Whole Shot Plumbing, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Got the touch of the gloves. Both of these guys look so explosive.
Flying out of the floodgates is Spritzer. Lazalde meets him right back up for another shot down the pipe.
Oh, that was a great pass by.
Spritzer able to find the back. All of his wins have been by TKO, although there hasn't been one for him since August of 2013.
Yeah. You can tell that Spritzer is definitely a wrestler, definitely a grappler. You can see those Cliff Keen shorts on him, as well as when he came into the cage, he did that little double leg shot. Good wrist control right here, holding on really tight. Great hip pressure, sinking it in. Let's see if he can do some offense from here.
Zach Spritzer told me that he views Lazalde as the perfect dance partner to come back to. Interested to see if he's able to capitalize on the game plan. Seems to be doing so far, about 65 seconds in.
Yeah, he's looking really sharp. Great control, keeping him on that cage. Has the hook in now. Let's see if he can utilize this for a submission on the guillotine choke.
Lazalde, all losses have been served by submission. Doing a good job defending him right now, but there's a lot of potent pressure by the Montana fighter.
Yeah, I'd really like to see Spritzer kind of either get to guard or use this to kind of throw him just like that. There you go.
Spritzer able to continue to post that grueling pace on Lazalde.
It's interesting he held it. He kept it. He could have probably gotten on top, but he's going straight for the submission, kind of fixated on that offense.
Lazalde controlled for 87% of his last fight, able to get some separation, and now looking to work a little bit more in his wheelhouse of the striking department.
Yeah, this is a swinging back and forth. Great takedown.
Still successful.
It's really difficult. You can see he has a wrist right on that bottom. We call it a Dagestani handcuff, kind of what a lot of the Russian fighters do in the UFC and other promotions. Really difficult to defend because your arm's completely stuck and it exposes that side of your body.
Straight in the center are the two featherweights.
Yeah, if Zach could actually hook the left leg, it would really be tough for Lazalde to get out from here. Oh.
No easy opposition for Michael Lazalde either. Took the leap to fight Malachi Novosel back in May, Nate Ayers shortly after in July, and then once again we're seeing the offensive pressure that is able to be served by a guy like Zach Spritzer.
Yeah, I mean, Lazalde's as tough as they come, so I'm sure in round 2 we're going to see a lot of offense from him.
Once again, heading to a second round, Dave Selyusted, third man in the cage. Happy to have him here as well, typically a resident in the state of Utah. But Zach Spritzer, David, what is he doing that is causing so much positional advantage right now?
So both of these fighters, they kind of throw some, winging punches that are kind of crazy. But the one thing that Spritzer has is a lot of grappling. You can tell that he's definitely very versed. You saw that mat return, the wrist control. All of those things are looking really promising for him. Though Lazalde's nobody to sleep on either because he can really do it with one punch.
Michael Lazalde, his lone win is by a TKO. It was February 11th of 2023. Again, nearly 2 years ago, our first time here at the Mountain America Center, seeing if he can make a little bit more magic here at the Mountain America Center. So many people here. Quite the pop he got when Jackson announced his name.
Oh, yeah. Hometown people. There's definitely an advantage when you got inspiration from the crowd.
Top of round 2 we go. Spritzer able to play the fight into his hand early on as Lazalde opens up with a couple of kicks.
His kicks are really powerful. I mean, Lazalde just throws everything he has at every strike.
Spritzer told me as well he feels like the skill set of his striking has swelled over the years as well. Seems to be having some success on the feet alongside the Idaho fighter.
Yeah, this is a good matchup. I'm props to Zach for making this fight, honestly. This is a really good matchmake.
Spritzer accurate off of the back foot. Inside leg kick stings as well.
Yeah, he seems to really like throwing that inside leg kick. You got to be careful throwing it because it can get checked fairly easily, but he's doing a good job setting it up.
No stagnant targets on either side as well, David. A lot of Michael Lazalde opponents do that because of the style that he brings. He never stops moving in that cage.
Yeah, I've seen that just watching his film. I will say, though, that both of these guys move a lot, and it's to, the enjoyment of the fans. This is going to be a crazy second round and third round if it goes there.
Spritzer makes his way out of a heaving shot by Lazalde.
Oh, he's catching him a little bit.
And now, David, we're seeing a little bit more mixed-up weaponry from Spritzer. We saw so much grappling in the first round, but we're halfway through this second, and he has yet to take him down.
Yeah, this is definitely a change of pace. You never know with the conditioning of someone or how they felt in there. Maybe he's trying to set it up. Oh, that was a big shot.
Clean knee up the gut preceded it by Spritzer, but now Lazalde getting a little bit of wind in his sail.
Yeah, I think Lazalde might be turning the tide of this fight. If he can keep throwing those punches, making sure that they're sharp, straight over looping, I think he could catch him potentially.
Zach Spritzer now initiates a bit more grappling once again. Some may say that's the smart move.
Yeah, I mean, you know my opinion on this. I would definitely do the same.
Also, interestingly enough, being 31 years old for Spritzer, David, he was 20 years old the last time he got his hand raised.
Yeah, that is just crazy to me. Like I said, you know, life might take you different places, but inside of your head, you always want to fight. He's doing a great job framing. Notice how he's framing with his right arm right on the chin and the neck right there of Lazalde, using it to kind of pin him down. Let's see if he can hold him here for the rest of the round. Got 10 seconds left.
Inching his knee out of Lazalde's confines and battling the body a bit as well. Back-to-back third and final rounds here tonight, David. Interestingly enough, we've got a competitive one here. Your scorecard right now, obviously it's unofficial, but what do you think we have going into minutes 6 through 9?
I'm not going to lie, I have it 1-1. This was tough, but Lazalde did definitely get the better of the striking in a few of those exchanges, really kind of rocking his opponent. So, do
you think Lazalde is preaching that? Lazalde's corner is preaching that to him at the moment, or do you think they're saying, hey, you have got to make sure that you don't leave this into the hands of the judges?
So they could be. I mean, I would generally tend to be more positive, but I do think that he needs to keep pushing and make sure that he doesn't get taken down. He might be able to finish this fight or at least win in the striking exchanges.
Michael Lazalde out of Guerrilla Unit MMA in Idaho Falls, one of 3 Idaho Falls Guerrilla Unit MMA fighters to make the walk tonight, not to mention Luis Cortez featured in the main event.
I feel like the Guerrilla really fits his style. Powerful.
Still a young gym, just about 2 years into its starting points here in Idaho Falls, but has been able to garner up some solid fighters. Lazalde, one of the more active fighters out of that specific gym as well.
Looks like there might have been a cup kick.
Quick stretch from Spritzer. Lands a little bit below the belt. Dave Selystead brings it right back to the center. Lazalde able to shake it off well.
Yeah, props to him for getting back in there. not taking any good time, but wanting to finish this fight.
And there's a lot of strategy behind that, right? Like sometimes you think maybe your opponent is gassed. You don't want to give them the 5 minutes either.
I mean, some coaches say that it might be advantageous to throw a kick to the groin, but, you know, I think it just depends on your situation and where you're at. I think it's best to get back into the fight. You don't want to lose that momentum.
Matrix-level instincts by Spritzer, able to catch that leg in mid-drift, and now on top, punishing Lazalde.
Yeah, he's looking really powerful from this position. I think he can kind of feel it, too, that it might be 1-1, proving to the judges that he's going to win this fight.
Just about 2 minutes to work for the Montana fighter, now chasing the back. Again, all of Lazalde's losses have been by submission, trying to fight back from another one right now.
Yeah, Spritzer, I mean, he's doing, like, a really good job. Lazalde kind of tried to do that trap and roll, but he just didn't have the arm the way he needed to and exposed his back.
Spritzer never recorded a submission in his career. Still over the chin, and Lazalde fighting the hands well, seems to have learned from his past mistakes, David.
Yeah, I mean, he has the one hand right now, and he's grabbing the other one that's on his neck. It's still kind of on his chin. It isn't underneath yet. It's really difficult in those gloves, though, let me tell you.
Switching the hands a bit now, a little bit of uncomfortable position for Lazalde, but still sharp in between the ears.
Yeah, I think Spritzer's being fairly patient, just kind of taking his time, making sure that he can sink it in correctly.
Patient and poised with about 50 seconds remaining for Spritzer.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's really difficult because on the one hand, you want to finish the fight. You want to just sink that choke in. But on the other hand, if you gas out in this position and maybe he gets a reversal, you might be in a world of trouble.
Spritzer seems to have bailed on that initial rear naked choke attempt.
Yeah, it looks like he might control him for the rest of this round.
I don't know if that picked up in the microphone, but an Idaho faithful right behind us saying, stand him up and knock him out. Sound advice with about 15 seconds remaining.
Man, maybe we should do more kickboxing fights here.
I like to keep my opinion to myself in this broadcast booth, but
I'm kidding.
final seconds fizzle out as Zach Spritzer seems to be back in a big way. Closes out the fight on top. David, he was impressive.
That was honestly a great performance after such a long layoff. You could tell that, you know, he would do great with the striking. Both people did great with the striking, but it really was the grappling that kind of was the difference in this fight.
Hands on his knees, got to be a little bit tired after not doing something like this for nearly a decade.
Yeah, especially when you're grappling so hard. You're using a lot of that isometric grip strength. You're trying to pull and tug and choke your opponent out. It can definitely have a wear on your body for sure.
So, David, I have another update for you in terms of the chronicles of scorecards.
Oh, no.
So it wasn't ink this time. They're handwritten in the state of Utah. So Jackson Hopes let me know that it's not the elongated reason isn't for any sort of printing issue. It's now just all the judges have to write it out. The commission has to finalize it as well.
So let me get this right. They print it in Utah. They write it in Idaho.
Correct.
Interesting.
Well, why is that interesting to you? Expound a little bit.
I just think it's funny with, you know, obviously, like, these commissions are government things, and they all kind of have their own process in doing it. So it's just interesting that, you know, Utah might do something one way and then they have a problem, right? And they decided to go another way, but then it comes with its own problems or makes it a little bit longer to take time to get to that decision.
Michael Lazalde as well as Zach Spritzer, first time ever being subject to scorecards. Never had to go the full 9 minutes. Some good things to be taken away no matter what the outcome is, David.
Yeah, I think for both of these guys, I just think having the cage experience, you know, both of these guys are really game fighters. They're athletic, they're tough. You can tell that they are very explosive as well. And so having that experience going a full 9 minutes, that's what really gets you ready to be a pro fighter going full 15.
Zach Spritzer sports some of the ink on his shoulder. Not sure exactly what it said or what it was, but it seems as though we have the final scorecards in hand. With that, we'll go to the man with a hot microphone. Here's Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score this contest 29-28, 30-27, and 30-27. For your winner, by a unanimous decision, out of the blue corner, Zach the Magic Man Spritzer.
Zach Spritzer, haven't heard your name and your hand get raised in over a decade. How does that feel, my man?
Feels amazing. Feels good. Glad to be back.
How did you feel in this camp upcoming? You hadn't fought since you were about 22 years old, now 31. Was it hard to shake off the cobwebs? You look great in there.
Yeah, you know, it was tough to get back in here. Been training for a good little bit now. Trying to get back into it. Bumped up a weight class thinking it was a good matchup. He's bigger than I was thinking, but, you know, came out with the win.
How did you feel at featherweight? Because you mentioned to me that 135, maybe even 125 pounds is in the future.
Yeah, I definitely, next fight I get in here, I want to be lighter. Definitely.
Any family, friends, sponsors you want to give a thank you to?
Yeah, you know, I want to give a shout out to all my friends over in New York, down in Florida, back in my hometown in 406, you know. Give a shout out. Thanks for watching.
He got it done, ladies and gentlemen. Zach Spritzer.
FST. Who is FST filtration? What is FST filtration? You see, FST is more than a filter company just trying to be cool. FST is a solution-based company in the heart of Utah, where hard work is embedded in its roots, and providing superior indoor air quality is our mission. FST has risen to the challenges that everyday people face. As new challenges present themselves, we too shall rise to the occasion. Manufacturing is the backbone of America, and our employees are the backbone of FST. So when choosing your next filter for your home or building, don't choose any filter. Choose FST. Small business. Family owned since 2001.
Back live from the Mountain America Center Fierce Fighting Championship 35. A couple of fights in already. And David, Santiago Izucar versus Vincent Vanisi waiting in the wings. This is going to be a fun one.
I am really excited for this fight. Both of these guys are very talented, and I think they're going to be throwing a lot of leather tonight.
Very interested to see how things play out. We'll go back inside to the center with Jackson Hoops.
Fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Burger Theory. As an American-style cuisine, full-service bar and restaurant, Burger Theory serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner and offers the best burgers in the region. Their bar offers local brews, great food, and amazing services. Eat great, drink local at Burger Theory. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Vincent Vanisi and then Santiago Izucar to the cage.
Short timetable for this turnaround. Enter Vincent Vanisi. David, successful in his striking back in July, but fell victim to the downpour of ground and pound from Parker A. Beglen, looking for nothing short of a W at 185 pounds.
So do not let his record of 1-3 fool you. He is one of the most diverse boxers that we have on the entire Fierce Fighting roster at the amateur rank. He's so good at mixing in the head strikes, jabs, crosses, hooks, uppercuts, all of that, but then also goes to the body and really puts a lot of his punches towards there and efforts down below.
And I think it's worth note, he started off super hot last time out. It was an extremely competitive fight. He more so just pittered out over anything else.
Yeah, I think that there definitely needs to be an adjustment, and you'll notice that a lot of his fights are at 205. This one, I believe, is at 185, and so he's probably going to be in a lot better shape. I'm hoping that helps him here tonight.
Tonight, he's the lightest he's ever been. All previous fights have been at heavyweight or light heavyweight. Oh, wow. He did miss weight by 2.5 pounds at 188.5, but we'll see how things sort out for him. Down so much weight, David. I mean, that's a 20-pound differential between July and this.
That is very impressive, and props to him for cutting it. But I do know, as recently I've been going to this Polynesian bakery, there's some really good food that you can have, so you got to be careful. Got to make weight.
We'll have to ask Vincent Vanisi maybe what his favorite thing from a Polynesian bakery is as we wait for Santiago Izucar. All right, looks like he's got the green light back once again after a long layoff is Santiago Izucar. David, he went the full time in the debut, says his cardio was tested and something he's had to improve coming into fight number 2.
Yeah, we've mentioned this a lot. Your very first fight, sometimes you have no idea what to expect. Your body doesn't know how to react. But now that this is his sophomore campaign, I bet he's going to come out and look really, really good compared to his first one.
Yeah, and he told me that he's big on patience. He feels that every facet of his game has been improved since his first fight nearly 18 months ago. Santiago Izucar, fighter out of Guerrilla Unit and Vibe Jiu-Jitsu here in Idaho. Seems like the Idaho fans are really hoping someone can come out successful as they've gone 0-2 so far tonight.
Yeah, I've actually competed against a few guys from Vibe. They are a very solid gym, really good technique, really tough competitors, and we just saw a Guerrilla fighter Didn't mean to say that, but you get my point. These guys are really tough. You know that they train hard up here in Idaho.
All right, let's go ahead and pull up that tail of the tape. Amateur middleweight bout between Santiago Izucar and Vincent Vanisi is upon us. Largest age discrepancy on this card, 9-year senior, is Izucar. Identical at 5'10" as they stand. Izucar weighing in at 184 pounds flat. Vanisi again missing weight by 2.5 pounds. Izucar with a record of 1-0. Vanisi with a record of 1-3. Back inside, let's go to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Burger Theory. This fight is an amateur middleweight battle scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Tyler Tomlinson. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 1 win and 3 losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in above the contracted weight at 188.5 pounds. Fighting out of One Hit MMA, hailing from Salt Lake City, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Vincent Vanisi. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an undefeated amateur record of 1 win and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in at 184 pounds. Fighting out of Guerrilla Unit MMA, Teton Martial Arts, and Vibe Jiu-Jitsu and Grappling Arts. Hailing from Idaho, Hot Falls, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for Santiago Izucar.
Sophomore slate for Santiago Izucar in the red gloves. Another rep for Vincent Vanisi in the blue gloves. This amateur middleweight bout is brought to you by Burger Theory. Custom burgers and local craft beer. Eat great, drink local at Burger Theory, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
For Santiago, I mean, there's something to be said about being undefeated. You can really use that to build momentum into your next fight.
Santiago told me he felt that fight should have been finished early on, but was happy to go the full 9 minutes, won via split decision versus Pete Mendez as Vanisi opens up with an acrobatic leg kick.
Yeah, Vanisi's a problem, man. Like I said, his striking is something to behold, and he's looking a lot more patient this time around. The last time he fought, he kind of was all over the place. Really good footwork right now.
Coming in over the top as Izucar aimed for the lower body. A little bit of a crash in the center in that exchange.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how the striking goes and if Santiago is going to use any of his jiu-jitsu tonight.
Both fighters more so feeling each other out through the first 65 seconds of this one. Vanisi did have that booming kick to the body, though, David.
Yeah, that was a really powerful kick. Just a lot of power coming from him. I'm sure that some of that strength from 205 and heavyweight, it's definitely coming down to 185.
And you mentioned you wonder if we'll see a little bit of grappling initiated by Izucar. Vincent Vanisi taken down every round of his last fight. That was how Abe Beglen was able to come away with the win, was the grappling. Right now, more so a striking stand-up war as Izucar closes in the distance.
Yeah, and it changes once you've changed weight classes. If you've ever wrestled or done jiu-jitsu, it really does have an effect. So if you're going against heavyweights, but you're not naturally that big, the wrestling does have an effect. Oh, wow.
Vanisi cinching up a submission, has Izucar off of his feet.
He needs to get his elbow down on that side. He's kind of just trying to lift him up in the air, really turn on that. It looks like it's reversed.
Tyler Tomlinson able to get his way out of the exchange. A couple of punishing blows up against the cage for Izucar.
Yeah, Izucar's looking really sharp right here. Great control.
Pressure is present as he locates his way over to the back, now over to the front, cinching up maybe his own front headlock choke, David.
Yeah, let's see if he can bring the elbow down. It looks like he might be trying to lift it too, but notice how he's kind of lifting up and rotating.
There's the finish. Santiago Izucar, 2-0, coming your way to Idaho.
That momentum's rolling. Still undefeated.
Frustration on the side of Vanisi. He had the exact same grip. It just wasn't able to cinch up the win. Santiago Izucar what a way to turn the tides for his favor, David.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of hyped up Vanisi a little bit coming into this, but I was very impressed with how he was able to kind of reverse the grappling and use it to his benefit to finish that fight.
Big handshake and a smile. Guerrilla Unit MMA has got their first winner of the night, and the Idaho crowd loves it.
Yeah, this is really cool to see people win in their hometown, and definitely these Guerrilla guys, they're tough.
All right, seems as though we are just about ready to make it official. With that, we'll go to hoops.
Fierce fans, referee Tyler Thomason is called to stop this contest at 2 minutes 49 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by submission due to a standing guillotine, Santiago Izucar.
Santiago Izucar, how does it feel to get it done in front of the Idaho faithful?
It's great, man. Glad to be home, and hopefully that was entertaining.
Tough back and forth battle. He had the same guillotine grip. You were just able to get it cinched up a little bit better. How did you feel in there defensively when he had that going?
I constantly get myself put in guillotines that vibe, so I could fight it off pretty well.
How did you feel in there after 18 months away?
Really good. I'm glad to be back.
What's the plan for the future? Do you want to be more active? Do you want to take a little bit more time off and just sharpen the skills? What's the plan?
I need to sharpen my stand-up a little more, but yeah, I'll be back.
Any family, friends, sponsors you want to give a thank you to?
Yeah, my team, Teton Martial Arts, my other coach, Luis Cortez, Vibe Jiu-Jitsu, and all the guys there. My family, my friends, my kids. They have to deal with me being gone all the time, so. And thank everybody else for coming.
Idaho Falls, give it up for your man, Santiago Izucar.
It's got to pour it on here.
On the ropes is Atman. There's a photogenic finish for Kent Mafileo. One of the top talents in the entire state of Utah is back in a big way.
Impressive performance.
First strike finishes the fight. Mark Gonzalez.
This is the Kent Mafileo that we missed.
But that might be the thing that separates it. It's a close fight. Go!
When cutting weight, you lose more than just pounds. You lose vital hydration.
Rush Hydro helps me get back in peak condition after sweat.
It's the Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk, as well as additional information on future shows. So Santiago Izucar gets the job done, and with that, David, he moves to 2-0. He said, though, he wants to take some time off and work out the striking a little bit more.
Yeah, I've noticed that with a lot of fighters where even though they get the win, even though they look amazing in their fight, you just want to kind of strive for perfection. And I think that he is just one of those special athletes that wants to be really good every single time he goes in the cage. The truth of it, though, is you learn a lot when you're training for the cage. So I'd love to see him stay active. He gave this Idaho crowd a great show.
Very excited to see what the future holds for him, and some bright futures lie ahead between Marconis Alves and Nicola Preville. We'll bring him out right now with Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Clean Juice. Food made right the way it was intended to be. Their USDA certified organic juice and food bar are handcrafted with the highest quality ingredients that are safe for you and your family, making Clean Juice a juice and food bar you can trust. Your health journey starts right here with Clean Juice. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Marconis Alves and then Nicola Preville to the cage.
All right, sophomore slate set for Marconis Alves. David, less than 2 minutes of cage time in the debut, votes to jump straight back in after only 3 months away.
I am very impressed with people that lose a tough fight. Maybe it doesn't go their way, and they're back in there like this kid. He is a real jiu-jitsu specialist. In his last fight, he actually pulled guard, which is kind of refreshing, very different. Being Brazilian, I'm sure he has a background in that. Sounds like he has a background in Taekwondo as well as his gym in Power Fitness. They do a lot of Muay Thai.
Blue belt in jiu-jitsu for Marconis Alves. He was born in Sao Paulo, Brazil, interestingly enough.
Oh, wow.
One of two fighters to talk a little bit about his gym out of Empower Fitness tonight. It's a new gym out of Sandy, Utah. There are two Empower MMA gyms. There's Empower with an M like you see on your screen right now, and then there's also Empower with an EM. It's a different gym, but nonetheless excited to see some talent out of a new gym.
Yeah, tomato, right? It's difficult, it's confusing, but I'm really excited to see all these new people, these entrepreneurs. They're making their American dream happen, and they're doing martial arts for a living. It's cool to see.
Marconis Alves back after his first fight in August of 2024, looking to get a notch in the win column for the first time.
Yeah, I'd love to see him win. He is very fascinating to watch.
All right, cutting the curtain for the third time this year, enter Nicola Preville. David, another name out of Legacy MMA in Nampa, Idaho. Successful in September, more of the same in the sights tonight.
Yeah, Legacy MMA really does produce a lot of talent. Nampa being just kind of one of those powerhouses in Idaho. I'm really excited to see how he goes and takes on this jiu-jitsu specialist and see what he can produce.
Nicola Preville, originally from Belgrade, Serbia, came to Idaho to play basketball at NNU in Nampa. 4 years after his playing days, he chose MMA to continue on his athletic career, and so far been successful. 1-1 is the record.
It's really cool to see these multi-sport athletes or people from a different background get into MMA. One day I'd love to see like a Luka Doncic fight one day, or other, Joker or whoever, somebody from the NBA. That's pretty cool to see.
All right, let's go ahead and pull up that tail of the tape for these two welterweights, Nicola Preville as well as Marconis Alves in this one. Alves, the younger fighter at 28 years old. The height advantage flies by way of the fighter out of Idaho in Nicola Preville. Preville weighing in yesterday at 170.5 pounds. Alves tipping the scales at 169. 1-1 the record for Preville as Marconis Alves comes in at 0-1.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Clean Juice. This fight is an amateur welterweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyusted. Introducing the first fighter fighting out of the blue corner, holding a record of 0 wins and 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighed in at 169.5 pounds. Fighting out of Empower Fitness, hailing from Orem, Utah, by way of Teresina, Brazil. Fierce fans, make some noise for Marconis, the Punisher Alves. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 1 win and 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighed in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Legacy Martial Arts, hailing from Nampa, Idaho, by way of Belgrade, Make some noise for Nicola Preville.
Third time this year for Nicola Preville in the red gloves. Marconis Alves answers back in the blue. This amateur welterweight bout is brought to you by Clean Juice, the newest place for a healthy juice. Clean Juice, an official sponsor of Fierce FC. Preville flies out of the floodgates to start. Typically how things go for him. Never made it past the 2-minute mark of a fight as Marconis Alves moves it to the mat.
Yeah, he did a great job of getting straight to that body lock. Oh, but we got a big reversal right here. See if Preville can stay out of the jiu-jitsu.
All action by him early. His third fight in 2024. David, he began training in December of last year, already picking up the reps as often as possible.
Only a year? That's amazing.
Less than a year, technically. Big time head kick, drops down Alves. Nicola Preville gets it done in the home state.
That was amazing. Super athletic.
Another firework finish for a fighter out of Legacy MMA, Nampa, Idaho, on the map. Nicola Preville gets it done in quick fashion.
That was a big, big kick. Very impressed with his skill, and he's only been training a year. Wow. It just goes to show you how athletic he is and talented he can be.
Translation from basketball to MMA seems to be pretty seamless. The striking on display as the head kick leads to the TKO.
Could you imagine being able to knock people out while make buckets?
And dunk.
And
Luckiest
dunk?
guy in the world.
Oh, if only I could. If only I could.
Nicola Preville about to move to 2-1. That is back-to-back wins for the Nampa, Idaho fighter. We're going to go ahead and make it official right now with Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selya said has called a stop to this contest at 45 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO out of Belgrade, Serbia, Nicola Preville.
Nicola Preville, how does that one feel? Your fastest finish of your career?
I don't feel anything. I'm just excited for another opportunity to step in the cage, and I'll chase for another one. I want to say thanks to my coaches, all sparring partners and mentors. It's been exciting MMA amateur career for now. Thanks everybody for coming and supporting us. It's a big time.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Nicola Preville.
One more fight, and then we got our intermission. One more fight on the preliminary
Rush
card.
Hydro helps me get back in peak condition after sweat loss leaves me depleted.
It was specifically engineered for athletes like myself who need quick hydration recovery. This drink has a special ingredient, clusterdextrin, which is formulated to help my body retain electrolytes, use them more efficiently, and support lasting energy.
When it feels like a race to rehydrate, Rush Hydro helps me perform my best.
Try hydration redefined at rushhydro.com.
Come on, check this out. Check this out.
So Nicola Preville comes out victorious and says he feels nothing. David, locked and loaded for the future. Cannot wait to see what he has in store.
Preville was so amazing, honestly. Just a complete athlete. And the fact that he's only been training a year, I can't even imagine what happens when he becomes like a blue belt or a purple belt in MMA, let alone a black belt. He might be a real pro one day.
And oftentimes we talk about these athletes that are moving into MMA, and it's kind of creating a new tide of fascinating finishers and just specific skill sets that transfer so cleanly over to this sport.
And not only that, I mean, he's from Serbia originally, so MMA is becoming so worldwide. We're going to get people from across the world that you would never expect, and they show up and they're going to be world class. It's really cool to see the growth of MMA as a sport.
Well, speaking of world class, we got 2 to headline the prelims in Tristan McDonald and Ole Mihov. We won't make you wait any longer. Here's Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, our final fight of the preliminary card is sponsored by Bardoza's Tap House, celebrating their... Yeah, Bardoza's Tap House right over there. Celebrating their 2nd anniversary and home to the Fierce Fighting Championship after party. They provide music, discount specials, and great times. With 30 different beers on tap and great food menu with incredible appetizers, they are open Tuesday through Sunday. So be sure to stop in, especially this evening after the fights, for the after party to celebrate their 2nd year anniversary at Bardoza's Tap House. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Tristan McDonald and then Ole Mihov to the cage.
A ceiling as high as any. Enter Tristan McDonald. David, there's plenty of prospects I get excited for when they make their fierce debut. Tristan McDonald is number 1 on that list.
I have goosebumps right now. He's one of my teammates. I've known him for a while. Such an amazing person, but even more importantly, he can wrestle. This guy wrestled for Tom and Terry Brands at Iowa, which is one of the top programs in the country. But not only that, he was a walk-on at Iowa, which is just such an inspiration that he wrestled there all 5 years. Such an amazing fighter. He's really dominant in the cage.
Yeah, spent 5 seasons with the Hawkeyes, including that national championship team in 2021. But he's got a long list of grappling accolades. 111 jiu-jitsu matches, not to mention a litany of super fights along the way. 87-24 is the official record in that realm, David.
And not only that, he can throw punches. I'm pretty sure he dropped his first opponent pretty hard. We're going to see a full array of mixed martial arts tonight from this guy, grappling, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling and striking.
You see that 1-0 in his record. It was a win down in St. George at Crown Fighting Championships in March of 2023. Under 60 seconds to decide that one in dominant fashion. Tristan McDonald, been hard for people to find an opponent for him. Ole Mihov answers the bell.
Yeah, I don't know if I would fight somebody who wrestled at Iowa, but I'm happy that Zach was able to find him an opponent for tonight because we are so lucky to see him fight.
All right, matching the hype of his dance partner, here is Ole Mihov. David, just 35 days separate fight 1-2. Consistency is key as he kicks off his MMA career.
Yeah, Ole, he's actually from Ukraine, which has a long history of combat sports, and he has the pedigree to be in there with Tristan McDonald tonight, fighting out of Syndicate MMA. You know that he trains hard. You know he's ready to go.
When we talk about his origins in Ukraine, he actually grew up on a farm, has that farm-like strength, as I was talking with his coach, Max Suarez, yesterday at weigh-ins. He told me that he doesn't need long training camps. Reps take the priority as the UFC is the primary goal.
Yeah, this kid looks very, very focused, just has a litany of combat experience. I think this is going to be a very tough matchup for Tristan. We'll have to see how it goes tonight.
35-day turnaround. Let's see what flies off the film in this amateur lightweight bout between Ole Mihov and Tristan McDonald. McDonald, the senior fighter by 5 years at 27 years old. The height advantage will fly by way of the Las Vegas fighter in Mihov. Mihov weighing in yesterday at 155 pounds flat. McDonald at 155.5. 1-0 in both parties as we head into our prelim headliner. Ole Mihov, a silver medalist at World Beach Wrestling Championships, started wrestling at the age of 17, a fast learner as evident by his accolades.
Yeah, if you've never seen beach wrestling, it's a little bit different. It's kind of like first takedown wins, and it's a really, really effective thing because in the sand it's really hard to push, so expect an athlete tonight. This is going to be a big wrestling match with some strikes.
Ole Mihov took no damage in the debut despite the 35-day turnaround. We will see how he fares tonight versus a game opponent in Tristan McDonald. With that, let's go to hoops.
Fierce fans, this final fight of the preliminary card is sponsored by Bardoza's Tap House. This fight is an amateur lightweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Tyler Tomlinson. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an undefeated amateur record of 1 win and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighed in at 155 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Agima Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, hailing from Pleasant Grove, Utah, by way of Lodi, Wisconsin. Fierce fans, make some noise for Tristan McDonald. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also holding an undefeated amateur record of 1 win and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighing at 155 pounds. Fighting out of Syndicate MMA, hailing from Kulevcha, Ukraine. Fierce fans, make some noise for Ole Mihov.
Heavily credentialed Ole Mihov sports the red gloves. Tristan McDonald, the dance partner, in the blue. This amateur lightweight bout is brought to you by Bardoza's Tap House, celebrating their 2nd anniversary and home to the Fierce FC 35 after party, providing music, specials, and great times. Bardoza's Tap House, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Oh, I'm nervous for this one.
Dialed in the striking early on is the Syndicate fighter. Straight shots down the middle right now, David.
Yeah, they both look really calm in there, really composed. They have a lot of combat experience. I will say that, Tristan has that power, but he needs to set it up if he's going to knock this guy out.
Couple of sniping shots early as that one thuds over the top for Mihov.
Yeah, Mihov is really composed in there, really smooth, straight, long punches. We haven't even seen an attempt to wrestle from either of them.
And sometimes they do just seem to cancel each other out, as we see standing through the first minute of this one.
Yeah, if I were Tristan, I would want to shoot, kind of test him on the wrestling, see where he's at.
Quick slip by McDonald, finds him compromised, able to jump back to his feet and get his wits about him.
And Mihov is looking really good with his punches and kicks, just really sharp. You can tell that he's definitely very disciplined with the striking.
Also mixing up the landing zones well, invested in the body just a couple of exchanges ago.
That was a good one from Tristan.
McDonald pops one outside.
Mihov's just a little bit faster with his hands, where he's kind of getting at, the end of the punch right before Tristan does. Oh, good kick.
Slapping head kick lands for the Agima fighter. Shakes off some offense garnered by Mihov.
Yeah, Tristan's kind of getting backed up, and it's making it difficult for him to move. Mihov's kind of holding his ground in the middle of the cage, really controlling that cage the way he needs to. There we go.
Lightning fast shot, reversed his way, and Mihov finds his way to the top.
And, obviously Tristan being an Iowa wrestler, this might be a bummer, but he's actually pretty good from the ground too, so we'll have to see what he can do in Mihov's defense to the jiu-jitsu.
Well, when you've got 87 jiu-jitsu competition wins and jump straight from a white belt to a purple belt, there does seem to have some grappling chops to him, as we see a quick smile from McDonald on bottom.
Yeah, he's when I roll with him, his grip strength is crazy. He's super strong. Mihov's doing a really good job of keeping that head right underneath the chin of Tristan McDonald, making it really difficult for him to move, and there's not a lot of mobility on bottom, no room to do any submissions.
Closing out round one. Competitive, but there was a lot of action on the side of Mihov. David, your thoughts?
Yeah, Mihov definitely edged out that round just with the striking. He just seemed more calm, a little bit faster, throwing those straight punches. Like I mentioned earlier, he's kind of getting to the punch before Tristan does. It isn't that Tristan can't strike with him, it's that he has a little bit of an edge.
Little bit of blood populating right outside of that nose. Dana Lazalde alongside Court McGee here for Tristan.
Yeah, they're the best in the business, and if anyone can help Tristan kind of come back from that first round, it's those two guys.
And David, it's safe to say as well, in the MMA world, Tristan hasn't had his back against the wall. It was a 58-second knockout. Didn't have anything battling back against him in the debut. Tide seemed to be turning here.
Yeah, it's really difficult when you haven't been tested in this type of situation, but the combat experience does relate.
Top of the second round, Tyler Tomlinson taking care of business here with plenty of assignments to remain through the main card. I was talking to Zach Partridge about this fight when it first got made, and he suggested this might be the highest level amateur fight Fierce FC has ever put on. I tend to agree with him, David.
Yeah, as far as the pedigree, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We're lucky in Utah or in Idaho to get these types of amateur fights. This should honestly be a pro fight.
Again, Ole Mihov made his amateur debut back on October 12th, already back in there once again, and seems as sharp as can be as he rips an overhand right there.
Yeah, Mihov is instigating the fight. He's the one throwing the jab first, and Tristan's trying to react. He's being very reactive, which is making it tough for him to defend. Yeah, he needs to start jabbing if he's going to defend, and Mihov's just picking him apart from this range. See, just like that.
Back in, perfectly placed. Mihov privy to it as he sprawls his way out of another takedown attempt by Tristan.
Yeah, good knee on the end, but Mihov is definitely solid with the defense.
Another popping jab, starting to run downhill a bit. Breaking through the guard of McDonald is Mihov.
Yeah, Mihov is just looking sharp from this range, and he's still controlling that cage. You know, one thing about Tristan, he is a tough dude. This isn't going his way right now, but don't count him out until he's out.
Still standing and coming forward. Blood spattering all across the broadcast booth as Tristan McDonald stays standing, David.
Yeah, and Mihov, he's doing such a great job of just following him. Notice how he's cutting off the cage every single place that Tristan tries to go to get out of that corner, essentially.
McDonald 0 for 2 on takedown attempts, one reversal and one quick sprawl by the Las Vegas fighter. Hasn't been able to get to his A game yet, David.
Yeah, I mean, being from America, and if you know anything about wrestling, it's really difficult to understand, man, this guy wrestled at Iowa, but a lot of these Eastern European countries, they can wrestle, man. They know what they're doing. They're tough.
More offense by Mihov this time.
Might get a knee bar.
Looking to grapple. Tristan McDonald now doing what he likes to do.
Yeah, this is where Tristan might be able to come back. He's a little bit past the knee. He might not be able to get it here. He does have it underneath the armpit. But he's just a little bit too low. Notice how Mihov's knee is right outside of the hip line of Tristan. This can get quite dangerous for the person on bottom.
So we see a window of opportunity now for Tristan McDonald, and maybe does Mihov not want to initiate the grappling once again because he knows the submission threat that could come from his opposition?
If I'm Mihov, I'm doing the exact same thing that I've done these past two rounds, which is keep him backing up. Don't let him get any space in the cage. Keep him on the cage side and throw those strikes from distance. If I'm Dana Lazalde or Court McGee, I am telling my fighter to go out there, wrestle. Whether you get the takedown or not, You need to get to the grappling, whether you're on top or bottom. It does not matter. You need to get to your jiu-jitsu.
And Mihov immediately passes the knee line, right? Like, there's not necessarily a ton of offense garnered for McDonald, but that's at least a spot in which something could happen.
Yeah, and you know, obviously at this point, I'm pretty positive Tristan's down 2-0. He really needs to go for that submission win if he wants to win tonight.
Ole Mihov again went the full 9 minutes back in October versus Isaiah Turner. He called Turner resilient despite trying to finish the fight quick. Seems to be a very similar tale here in this one as we head into the final frame.
You know, Mihov's very patient. You can tell that even though he might be green as far as his record and all, you can tell he has a lot of experience in combat.
Talking to him yesterday at weigh-ins, as hungry as can be for MMA success. Obviously wants to get as many opportunities as possible and making his name known to the Idaho fans at large right now.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm Mihov, this is definitely a statement win against a D1 wrestler who's tough. Yeah, he's just Tristan's getting backed up by Mihov. Once again, Mihov is kind of controlling the center of the cage, has the real estate.
Still sharp to get his way out of the grappling attack of McDonald as we stay standing.
Yeah, McDonald's just struggling to do anything from this range, but he does have a shot in.
Another attempt, unsuccessful once again. Fast hips by the Syndicate fighter so far, David.
Yeah, his defense looks real sharp, and you got people at Syndicate that are really good wrestlers. I'm sure he's been training pretty hard for this fight against some college guys too.
Mouthpiece flew out due to a strike from Mihov. Back to the action we go.
I love to see the sportsmanship, honestly. I know that some fighters would have just knocked him out right there or gone for it, so props to them.
Quick pause in the action by Tyler Tomlinson, the veteran referee here in Idaho tonight.
Yep. As a wrestler, it's really difficult when you're not getting your shot because you're so used to being able to take people down at will. Very impressed with Tristan that he's still going to it, has that mental fortitude to keep shooting the double leg or the single leg.
McDonald's corner preaching pressure with just under 90 seconds to decide this one and seems to be likely down on the scorecards.
Yeah, Tristan's going to have to pull something off. Mihov, he's got to stick to the game plan and stay disciplined as can be. Don't let any room for a variance or anything crazy to happen.
Another shot attempt, sprawled out once again by the man who just seems to be a step ahead at all times. Knee might have been a little bit high there, David. You had a reaction.
Yeah, that was a little sketch. I don't know, but, you know, Tyler didn't see it, so.
Another stiff shot, but a granite chin on the other side in McDonald.
Dude, Tristan's tough. There's no doubt about it, but Mihov's the one that's just dominating at this point.
Still won't go away, taking damage, but still throwing back with a smile is McDonald. Mihov makes him pay for it.
You know, and at this point, Mihov might be able to finish the fight. I love seeing those knees off of the shot. That's a great secondary.
Still standing, defensive wrestling on display. Ole Mihov, a new name worth tracking out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
At only 22 years old, he's going to be a problem.
David, it seemed as though dominant from the beginning. This looked like it was going to be one of the most competitive fights Fierce has ever seen. Ole Mihov had different plans.
Yeah, I think, you know, honestly, it's really difficult when you're so good or you have that pedigree, but mixed martial arts is MMA. It's multiple things. It's not just wrestling. It's not just striking. You got to be kind of good and talented from each and every spot. And it isn't that Tristan wasn't. I think that it's just that Mihov is very, very impressive in every facet of MMA.
And it's wild to think this, David, but you have to remember he made his debut just over a month ago. He's brand new at this, and we're talking about an amateur here.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if he's a pro in a year or so, honestly.
Might be tough to find opponents for him as well, given the resume and now the film that he has. His coach, Max Suarez, comes over to me and says, "I told you so." Seems to be right as we await the scorecards, but a W pens for Ole Mihov. Special showing as his teammate Nasir Davis set to make the walk a little bit later on tonight.
Yeah, these syndicate guys, they have, I'm going to put it this way, disciplined striking. Very, very disciplined. Their hooks are in the right spot. They're throwing straight punches. Earlier you saw today, sometimes people are kind of throwing crazy punches. That was not Mihov tonight. He was very calculated, very patient.
And it was from the first exchange of the fight, you saw something was different about the way in which he was throwing versus his predecessors here on the card.
And not only that, he was the one instigating every single strike and exchange. I can't express how important it is to throw your jab out there. You hear coaches say it all the time. Mihov was the one who did that, and that's why.
All right, seems as though we are ready to go. The man with the answer, here's Hopes.
Here's fans. After 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score this contest 29-28, 30-27, and 30-27, declaring the winner out of the red corner, Ole Mihov.
Ole Mihov, I think we got a new star coming out of Las Vegas, Nevada. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I want to thank you. I want to say thank you, my team syndicate, all people who helped me, Coach Max, all coach syndicate, Arthur, my friend. Thank you so much.
Was there anything that Tristan McDonald did that you weren't suspecting in there tonight?
I know he's a really good grappler, but I be ready for this. I work hard every day, morning, evening, afternoon. I work every day. I be ready for everything.
You made your debut 35 days ago. You are now already 2-0. What is the plan for the future for you?
I know you have a next tournament 13 December. Let's go 170. I'm ready.
Absolutely love it, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Ole Mihov.
Fierce fans, right here, we have 10 minutes of an intermission. And our official
Hey Fierce fans, Kibble Davis here with Prime Labs. We are now the official lab testing partner for all of Fierce Fighting Championships fighters. We provide a combat trio for all fighters across the Wasatch Front, as well as if you want to get in the best shape, like one of your favorite fighters, we provide many comprehensive blood panels. All you have to do is click on the link or text 385-645-7400.
Whether you're a fighter or just someone that wants to take charge of their own care and looking to address a lack of sleep, fat gain, or even muscle growth, Prime Labs has different panels for all financial situations. So please shoot us a text at 385-645-7400, scan the QR code, or please go to the website and come check us out.
All right, plenty of main card coverage still awaits, but right now you can learn a little bit more about every fighter set to make the walk with this segment from the Damage Plan MMA podcast. You're watching Fierce Fighting Championship 35, presented by Bet Openly.
Fierce fans, welcome to the main card. Everyone tuning into the pay-per-view and everyone here inside the Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls, Idaho, put your hands together and make some noise. Our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Avoid the wait. Order online with Rapid Rescue to Go, or stop into Firehouse Subs and try their new Thanksgiving turkey sub with premium carved turkey. Their hot sauce bar is back, so add some flavor to any sub when you dine in or pick up. Don't forget that they also offer catering from small bites to big feasts at Firehouse Subs. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome the first two fighters of the main card, Isaac Allen and then Preston Carlson, to the cage.
second walk of 2024. Here is Isaac Allen. David, impressive through 2 showings, but met his match in Austin Munoz last time out.
Yeah, Isaac Allen, you might hear me slip up. We call him Minnie at our gym because he is the nephew of Andrew Mickelson, is one of the top pros from the state of Utah. But Isaac, he is a phenomenal athlete, really, really powerful, heavy hands. I'd like to see him really utilize that in the striking tonight, but he does need to be careful of the grappling.
Yeah, and on that same line, he took one to give one versus Munoz back in March. Prominent power like his uncle, Andrew Mickelson, in every strike that he throws.
Yeah, and when you're like a talented fighter, like this kid is super scrappy, sometimes it's really good to get those tough challenges and losses that really give you a heads up and be like, hey, I need to work on the skill now.
And speaking of tough challenges, Allen yet to face a submission threat like Preston Carlson, who has 2 first-round finishes, both by submission.
Yeah, the key to victory for Isaac is definitely keep this standing, making sure that you're utilizing this big cage, footwork, head movement, and good hips, using that strength, that natural strength that he has. He's really, really strong to defend those takedowns and submission threats.
Isaac Allen, always entertaining, one half of the Fierce Challenger Series 9 fight of the night as he awaits to kick off the main card alongside Preston Carlson. Well, there he was, ready to go. 2 fights in and still standing strong. Enter Preston Carlson. David, he snags that neck the second it's available. Impressed the Idaho faithful in his first 2 showings.
Yeah, we may need to start calling him Preston Protect Ya Neck because he gets to that neck real quick. Yeah, his last fight was against actually one of the fighters that we saw earlier tonight. Is it
Michael Lazalde?
Lazalde, thank you. Yeah, he fought Lazalde and just put on that choke, man. So he's a top talent for sure.
One of the more impressive submissions of this entire calendar year. All 3 fights have taken place here in the Mountain America Center. And David, do you think that there's any added value to being in your accustomed surroundings?
I 100% believe in having a home advantage. I think it works in most sports, including MMA. You really want to show up for your friends and family. Now, it can be a little bit of pressure too, but I generally think it's a positive.
All right, let's see what flies off the film between these two at 160 pounds. Preston Carlson, Isaac Allen. The younger fighter is Carlson at 20 years old. The height advantage will fly by way of Carlson as well. Tipping the scales last night at 159.5. Meanwhile, Isaac Allen at 160 flat. 2-0 in unscathed record for Carlson. Meanwhile, Isaac Allen with a record of 1-1. First time on this main card. Here for the intros, here's Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Firehouse Subs. This fight is an amateur 160 pounds catchweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyusted. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an undefeated amateur record of 1 win and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in at 160 pounds. Fighting out of Akima Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, hailing from Provo, Utah, by way of Roseburg, Oregon. Fierce fans, make some noise for Isaac Allen. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also holding an undefeated amateur record of 2 wins and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighed in at 159.5 pounds. Fighting out of Lewis Martial Arts and Foley's MMA, hailing from Shelley, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for Preston Carlson.
Another rep for Preston Carlson in the red gloves. Utah's Isaac Allen stands opposite in the blue. This amateur 160-pound catchweight bout is brought to you by Firehouse Subs, hearty and flavorful sandwiches located in Idaho Falls. Firehouse Subs, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
As someone who's sparred Isaac a lot, he is really calm in there, really composed, super strong.
Some weighty leg kicks already landed, and punishing in the standing exchanges is Isaac Allen early.
Yeah, I'd like to see Carlson kind of use his size and his reach to kind of keep him at bay. I think that would really benefit him. Good strikes from Carlson and Allen.
Already seeing some massive changes in the movement, specifically from Isaac Allen. That has been improved since the last time we saw him in March.
Yeah, his footwork's definitely coming along. He's always been a natural fighter, but a little bit of technique coming in there too.
Stepping back and now looking to initiate some grappling is the undefeated fighter, Carlson.
And you saw, one of the keys to victory for Isaac is to make sure that he doesn't get taken down or get the takedown and get caught in those submissions.
Allen cocked back by the opening jab of Carlson.
This is a high-volume first round. I wonder how this could end.
Stellar head movement alongside those stinging leg kicks. Isaac Allen in full form right now.
Both these guys just throwing.
Nice knee up the middle. Down is Allen.
That hit his face. Oh, shoot. That's going to be an illegal strike.
Quick pause in the action.
He's so tough.
Knee up the middle. It looked like it connected to the face. We'll see if we can get the replay going.
Yeah, from my angle, it looked like it, but Isaac's still ready to fight. Look at that.
We'll see what we have. No instant replay just yet, but looks like we have it up on the big screen, but unable to show it here just yet on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, at least from my angle, it looked like a knee to the face, but props to Isaac. I mean, look at him. He's ready to go. He doesn't care. A lot of people would be done after that.
Looked like he had suffered from that strike with immediacy, but able to shake things off and right back to the potent punches and kicks is the Agima fighter.
And I didn't see, did Dave take a point away or warning? Or
I believe it was a warning over anything.
Interesting.
I apologize. We were working on the replay over
you're
here.
Good.
Head was in a different position.
He clipped him.
Isaac Allen.
Isaac Allen is crazy. Look at these strikes.
Loading up on everything.
Looks like that knee got him pretty mad.
Now closing the distance. Looks like he might want to mat the opposition. He does. And now in the world of Preston Carlson.
Yeah, this is where Isaac needs to be very, very careful. Looks like Carlson's already going for a Kimura lock right here. And he's so long, it makes it really easy to grab some of those limbs. Man, this keeps going how it has. It might be fight of the night. We'll have to see.
Interesting. As we mentioned, Isaac Allen been a part of some fun ones. Obviously, Preston Carlson had some significant submission wins as well. Just about 15 minutes remaining before we head to the stools.
And it looks like he let him up, which I bet his coaches at Agima are happy about that.
Slapping head kick lands for Carlson late in the round.
Isaac's just doing such a great job with those hooks. Hooks and uppercuts.
Quick handshake to close out the round. Seems like there's no bad blood. An inadvertent knee to the face, but Isaac Allen comes back swinging.
Oh, yeah, and the fans are excited for this one. We have a fight on our hands for sure. Both of these guys were really willing to engage in the striking. Obviously, we had that one mishap with the knee, but both these guys look really, really good on their feet.
So Isaac Allen has seen a second round. It was his last fight versus Austin Munoz. His first fight closed out in round number 1. Meanwhile, Preston Carlson never had to answer the bell up to this point in his career. Got to be thinking, this is uncharted territory for me.
Yeah, like we've been saying earlier in this broadcast, it's really important to have that cage experience. Now, both of these guys, I'm sure they do multiple rounds, 5, maybe 10 rounds every practice. They're in shape. You can see it clearly on their faces. They're ready to go.
Back up, cardiovascular seems to be in a good spot for Isaac Allen. And more than anything, David, just the movement of him has been exponential. I haven't seen him in the room. You see him just about every day, so maybe it's not as evident to you, but for anyone who has seen him from debut to second fight to now, a whole lot different in this one.
Yeah, a lot more movement. Obviously, he's always been able to throw punches, but looking real sharp tonight. Well, that's a powerful leg kick right there.
Been investing in those all throughout the night.
Yeah, we might not see it right now, but by the end of this fight, there's a chance those could play a factor for sure.
Couple kicks to Preston Carlson's own as well. We've seen him aim pretty high when he throws those leg kicks, but Isaac Allen continues to pump out punches.
Yeah, this is a high input fight. He's got to be careful with those knees after what happened last time.
Jockeying position back and forth. Allen the aggressor, Carlson snagging the neck where he can find it, but seems to slip out.
Yeah, Carlson's doing a pretty good job of just pressuring on the cage. Even though he's the taller fighter, he has his head kind of at the level of Allen. Just my bad. They are related.
Related. Nephew, uncle relationship. Back upstairs is Allen. Still connecting cleanly.
You see a smile on Allen's face because he landed pretty good.
Back over to the body, but Preston Carlson's chin is being tested, and he's passing with flying colors at the moment.
Yeah, this is a back and forth fight if I've ever seen one in the amateur ranks.
Now on the back foot is Allen trying to fight back, but Carlson seems to be turning the tides.
See if he can finish it right here.
Just about out on his feet is Allen, and with that, some protests. Isaac Allen immediately arguing with Dave Selyusted, but it seems as though Preston Carlson turns this one on its head and is going to move to 3-0.
Wow, that was a really impressive comeback. For a second, it looked like he was going to get rocked, and then all of a sudden just put it on.
Preston Carlson seemed to be dead to rights, losing round number 1, but able to garner up enough to pull in the finish. We've got the replay ready for you right now. David, go ahead and take it away.
You know, both of these guys, high fight IQ, but they were just throwing the entire time. At the very end here, he has him against the cage. There's a little bit of controversy maybe?
Elbows.
Oh, elbows.
That's what it was.
Oh.
If we can go back,
Yeah.
elbows are not allowed, obviously, as we now see our program up on the program. If for anyone who might be wondering, that's what it looks like behind the scenes for us here at Fierce Fighting Championship.
Yeah.
But if we can go back to that replay, it seems as though the elbows were being landed by Preston Carlson.
Yeah,
but Dave Selyusted says green light, and the W is going to him.
Yeah, it was kind of difficult to tell from our angle, but when you watch the video, it does look like they're either really short punches or they're potentially elbows, and now it makes sense why he was so, not happy about that decision.
Working on it now, just about ready to cue it up. We've got it. This replay is brought to you by Willie's Distillery.
So it was hard to tell.
Not the best vantage point for us.
So those look like punches? It's hard to tell, though, from that angle. Originally, when I saw it, looked like an elbow, but he does have like that closed fist, and he's throwing them tight.
It was a very tight shot, obviously, in terms of where it was going, but it seemed as though, I will just say, that the reaction was happening earlier on before the elbow even made contact to the head.
Yeah, so I guess we'll have to ask Isaac after the fight exactly, what he was frustrated about. Could have been that. Obviously, it could have been the stoppage itself, but that did look a little tricky. All
right, we are ready to go. We'll send it back inside to the center of the cage. Here's Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selyusted has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute and 40 seconds of the second round, declaring the winner by submission due to a verbal submission out of the red corner, Preston Carlson.
Preston Carlson, how you feeling after that one? Come from behind victory. You were able to do it on the feet this time.
Yeah. We've been doing a year and a half at Foley's MMA, and that's a lot of boxing, so I'm glad I was able to finish it on the feet.
Did you feel like maybe you were going to have to show some different shades of your game in this one, given the striker that Isaac Allen was?
Honestly, I was hoping for a sub. That was the game plan. But he knocked me out in the first round. I was out on my feet. So I'm glad I was able to recover and come back.
Any family, friends, sponsors you want to give a thank you to? You're 3-0, all here at the Mountain America Center.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to this crowd. 3,000 people, that's a lot of people, and you guys are always coming out to make a showing, right? I want to thank my family, a little Spence and Sadie. And I want to thank my parents, especially my dad. We were doing mitts all morning. And I want to thank my coaches. They made me who I am. And Branson, he's an incredible guy from Foley's, and he helped me so much. I'm glad I remembered his name.
3 wins, 3 finishes, all here in Idaho. Give it up for Preston Carlson.
FST. Who is FST filtration? What is FST filtration? You see, FST is more than a filter company just trying to be cool. FST is a solution-based company in the heart of Utah, where hard work is embedded in its roots, and providing superior indoor air quality is our mission. FST has risen to the challenges that everyday people face. As new challenges present themselves, we too shall rise to the occasion. Manufacturing is the backbone of America, and our employees are the backbone of FST. So when choosing your next filter for your home or building, don't choose any filter. Choose FST. Small business, family owned, since 2001.
Scan the QR code on your screen right now for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. Blake O'Rulean alongside David Kim here on the main card. 1 fight down, a few more to go. It's been a fun night so far, David.
Oh, this has been a great night. Honestly, I'm bummed this is in Idaho. I wish more people from Utah could see this. Hopefully you guys are watching tonight. This has been a really fun card. Really talented athletes on this one.
So many talented fighters sprinkled throughout this, and this next one continues that trend. Tate Martin, Jacob Baird. With that, we'll go to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Precision Line Striping. Owned and operated by Travis and Brenda Patterson, Precision Line Striping is your company for parking lot maintenance, which includes sealing, coating, sweeping, striping, snow removal, safety signage, parking bumpers, and traffic safety. In other words, they will do it all at Precision Line Striping. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Jacob Baird and then Tate Martin to the cage.
All right, unveiling the small gloves for the first time, here is Jacob Baird. David, a 3-1 Muay Thai record, but possesses plenty of other weapons we just haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he has a lot of striking experience, which is really good for MMA. I think at the amateur level, it's really important to have those fundamentals down. And you can also see, I mean, no doubt about it, he's a wrestler too, so I'm sure he's going to be fairly well-rounded.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't let the striking resume cloud the fact that he's a 3-time state champion wrestler, an accolade he attained way back in the day.
Oh, wow. I wonder where he wrestled at. I'll have to ask him.
Couldn't track down that specifically, but it will be interesting. First time in the MMA rule set. Again, 4 fights in Muay Thai, 2 by TKO and 1 win by decision. This is also, David, the heaviest he's ever been. All of his previous fights, he's tipped the scales sub 140 pounds, I apologize, tonight at 145 flat.
Okay. Yeah, this should be fun.
All right, back and staying on track is Tate Martin. David, a hard-nosed decision loss back in June, but now returns to his hometown crowd for his fourth fight in 11 months.
Yeah, you can. If you're on the broadcast, you could probably hear the crowd. They're going nuts for this guy. They got flags everywhere. This is awesome. But he is really impressive. One thing that impressed me the most about him is that he is extremely disciplined with his striking, as well as great wrestling defense. This should be a really good matchup. Both strikers that can wrestle.
Tate Martin, one of Idaho's favorite, as you can hear through the hot microphones. He showed up today, head to toe, fully suited up with a tie. I asked him, hey, what's the reason for that? He said, it's business. It's all business. I'm ready to get a job done.
Yeah, it seems like he might have a chip on his shoulder from his last fight. Oftentimes when you do lose and you come back from that, it's a great Cinderella story, and it really motivates you to do your best.
All right, let's go ahead and look at the intangibles for this amateur featherweight bout. Tate Martin opposite Jacob Baird. Martin, 1 year senior, 26 years old. Baird will stand 1 inch taller at 5'9". Identical tip in the scales last night at 145 pounds. A little bit longer in the tooth in the MMA experience is Tate Martin with a record of 2-1. Baird to make his debut in a matter of moments.
This fight is sponsored by Precision Line Striping. This fight is an amateur featherweight bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, referee in charge will be Tyler Tomlinson. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner. Making his amateur debut, he stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighing at 145 pounds. Fighting out of Empower Fitness, hailing from Sandy, Utah, by way of Mesquite, Nevada. Fierce fans, make some noise for Jacob Singha Baird. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 2 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighing at 145 pounds. Fighting out of Teton Martial Arts, hailing from Idaho Falls, Idaho. Make some noise for Tate the Martian Martin.
Back in his backyard is Tate Martin in the red gloves. Jacob Baird set to make his debut in the blue. This amateur featherweight bout is brought to you by Precision Line Striping, keeping your local parking lots clean and safe. Precision Line Striping, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Tate's a popular guy in Idaho.
Very popular. Had a news package made about him, but early on, Jacob Baird putting together some offense.
Wow, that was crazy. He has the Anaconda choke. Let's see if he can finish it.
Putting the wrestling on display. Already in a world of trouble is Martin, but fighting his way back up is the Idaho local.
Yeah, Martin needs to be scooting his hips away. Oh, it looks like it fell off, but he has the guillotine from the top. He's doing a one-handed guillotine. This can work, especially if you squeeze, kind of rotating towards your belly button in the middle.
Tate Martin never been finished in his career.
Yeah,
not sure if the hands are locked up together for Jacob Baird up top there, David, but it does look tight.
Yeah, they might be, but it doesn't look like he's in the right position. It just looks slightly off at this point, and it looks like Tate has the hand now, so he can really defend this.
Martin fights his way back up. Multi-time All-American wrestler, has no issue in the grappling. as he seems to be right back into this. A quick trip by Baird, all smiles out of the Utah fighter.
Yeah, it looks like he might have slipped there. Oh, good kick on the inside from Baird.
Martin now closes the distance.
Yeah, it's interesting to see kind of the wrestling exchanges straight to kind of the almost more Muay Thai style teeps and kicks and all of that.
Looks as though we might have a low blow. Jacob Baird says he's good, obviously not on purpose in any way, shape, or form, but Tyler Tomlinson going through the motions.
Oh, and it looks like Tate might have been poked in the eyes. He's talking to Tyler about it right now.
My apologies. I thought it was.
I think it was both.
I thought I saw an indication of a low blow, but if it was an eye poke, either way, shaking it off and right back to the action we go.
I mean, they do say an eye for an eye. Oh, great inside kick from Baird.
Jacob Baird floored by Martin, but not before, like you mentioned. Another stinging shot targeted towards the calf of Tate Martin.
Great double leg. Very, very impressed. And he's passing the guard. Oh, he might get to a bulldog choke right here.
High level by both. Baird won't go away without a fight. We get back to a stalemate.
This is some great grappling. Oh, look at that snap down. Tate's doing a great job holding on. Oh, that was nasty.
Weighty knee opens up the target zones for Martin. Jacob Baird TKOs his way to a successful debut.
That was a nasty knee. Perfectly timed, right on the side.
It was the knee that landed that opened it all up. Quick way to close it out. Jacob Baird is a new problem at 145 pounds.
Yeah, that was very, very impressive. Both of those guys look great, but Baird took the opportunity from the ground.
We saw wrestling, we saw striking. All of it active as ever. And Tate Martin brought the fight as well, unfortunately on his side. But if we could switch that camera over back to Jacob Baird. Not always the best visual to see a fighter laid out on the canvas, but Jacob Baird got to feel good after that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, the crowd's pretty quiet after, fan favorite Tate going down, but props to Baird for really taking that opportunity. Sometimes it's the creative shots that really get people that they don't see coming. Most fighters wouldn't have even thought to throw the knee like that, and he just went for it, so props to him.
All right, we have the finish for you presented by Willie's Distillery. David, it's all yours.
Okay. So both of these guys look great in their grappling, great in their striking, but the one difference was Baird, he really took the opportunity to do something creative and unique. He did that grounded knee, obviously to the body, which is legal. Very, very impressive performance from him.
Getting the nod from the man Jackson Hoops, and Jacob Baird is going to move to 1-0. As we await the official sign-off, here he is in the blue suit.
Fierce fans, referee Tyler Tomlinson has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes and 41 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO due to strikes out of the blue corner, Jacob Singhal Baird.
Jacob Baird, we knew you were going to be special. We didn't know you could do that. How does that debut win feel?
Man, it feels fucking great, I'm on a career path for Muay Thai right now. Couldn't get a Muay Thai fight, so I was like, take an MMA fight. I've wrestled. You just got to bring the intensity, man. That's all that matters.
How did you like switching back over? Obviously, you've been a striker for the past couple of years, but you come from the world of wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, I wrestled since I was 5, all the way up through high school, a little bit of college. I started doing Muay Thai a year and a half ago.
And did you like being able to go back to the grappling a little bit in competition?
It was fun, especially against a guy that wrestled as well. It was a lot better than I thought it would be.
How tough was Tate Martin? Because it was 50-50 battles, lots of scrambles, but you come out on top.
Yeah, man. I mean, he could get in, but couldn't really get the takedown. I was able to move my hips, flip him over. You know, I was able to control him the whole time, snap him down, turn the corner, land that fucking hard knee right in his chest.
Any family, friends, sponsors you want to give a thank you to?
I got my coaches right here. They just came up from Salt Lake yesterday. And I've got Bella and Max in the crowd over there. And then all my people that bought the pay-per-view and believe in me.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's a good one, Jacob Baird.
It's got to pour it on here.
On the ropes is Atman. There's a photogenic finish for Kent Mafileo. One of the top talents in the entire state of Utah is back in a big way.
Impressive performance.
First strike finishes the fight, Mark Gonzalez.
This is the Kent Mafileo that we missed.
But that might be the thing that separates it. It's a close fight.
Go!
Back over at Fierce Fighting Championship 35, presented by Bet Openly. Blake O'Rulian, David Kim in the broadcast booth. Impressive finish by Jacob Baird.
Yeah, I know he's a Muay Thai guy in quotations, but maybe he should make a career change. He looked really great tonight. Just looked it up. He's from Mesquite, Nevada, wrestled out there, so he's a Nevada state champ. Looks like he wrestled in college for Western Colorado. I actually have some friends and some teammates that have wrestled there, so really good program. Yeah, he's a solid dude.
Great work by Jacob Baird to come away with the debut win. And now we just lie in front of us 4 professional bouts. Nasir Davis, Deshaun Gray. This is the one that is filling the seats. For the people that know, this is the best fight on the card.
Yeah, this is definitely the people's main event right here. We've seen Nasir just blossom at Fierce Fighting Championship, being one of the top prospects in the country, honestly. So, but he has a really tough opponent in front of him today.
For those of you who might not know, Tate Martin is getting attended to by medical staff here at Fierce Fighting Championship. We are unable to progress in the night, so we will try to fill the time the best we can. David, you might be a little bit of bad luck because the only 2 times this has ever happened is when you're in the broadcast booth with us.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. The universe, the MMA gods, they just want me to talk my talk, so that sucks. But
you know why that is? It's because you do a great job. It doesn't suck. We're super lucky to have you. So we've got a couple of things to talk about here as we look at Thomas Boyer, Chris Chu, Justin Horsley versus Mark Coates, Luis Cortez, Daviante Jones. They're all good, David. I know you've got some close friends that are coming up later on tonight.
Yeah, one of which is Justin Horsley. I actually wrestled on the same club team with him out in Bountiful, Viewmont. I went to Viewmont. He went to Bountiful High School. So we've known each other for years, and I've watched him grow from being a high school wrestler to a college wrestler to becoming a pro MMA fighter, the inaugural Fierce Fighting Championship winner, right?
The first ever Fierce FC1. We'll talk a little bit more about that specifically when we get to the bout. But there's a lot to talk about when we see Luis Cortez. He's lost 6 straight. Daviante Jones, he lost his last fight as well. He's been submitted. That being said, can Luis Cortez pull something out, turn back the clock in front of his Idaho crowd with his first main event in 2 years?
I know that the crowd would love for that to happen. He is such a dynamic fighter. He really can throw down with the best of them. He's been in the cage with a lot of the top prospects in Utah. So to do it in Idaho, I think would be a pleasant treat for everyone here.
We're going to do a little bit of over-under as we talk about Chris Chu and Thomas Boyer. David, 1.5 rounds between these two. Chu, been to a third round his last 2 fights. He's a distinctly durable fighter. Meanwhile, Thomas Boyer has never gone to a decision and will be making his first walk in 3 years.
And not only that, Thomas Boyer used to fight at heavyweight too.
Exactly.
Whereas Chu is kind of flip-flop between middleweight and light heavyweight. So this is going to be a really interesting matchup. I think that I do have Chu with the advantage. So we'll have to see what happens.
Very interested in that one. Coming up after the Nasir Davis-Deshaun Gray fight. Again, Blake O'Rourke and David Kim holding out for a little bit as we await some medical attention from Tate Martin. But we'll keep talking about the remainder of this main card, David. True or false, Luis Cortez has to win tonight to get his career back on track. His first main event again since November 5th of 2022 when he faced Kent Mafileo. He's lost his last 6 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to tell someone where they're at in their career, and you don't know why somebody's fighting, but I could not imagine being on that type of losing streak and not want to get the win. In fact, I have so much respect for those people that can lose multiple fights and still come back out fighting. It really shows a lot about his character, but I do think this is an essential win for his career.
Lights are flashing up and down. Lighting guy having a whole lot of fun here as we're building this thing from an MMA show into a rave.
Yeah, I'm partying. We got the rock out. Let's go.
Nasir Davis versus Deshaun Gray, pro debut versus pro debut. Do you think that lightens the burden that both guys are making that step up at the same time?
You know, it's so interesting because you almost have to have a different mindset. You do different things in your amateur career, but once you go pro, things change. Things really are on the line. So I actually think there is more pressure for both of them because they are making that pro debut, and there's a lot of expectations on both of these guys to do very well.
Again, Nasir Davis out of Syndicate MMA. We saw his teammate Ole Mihov put on a show for the Idaho fans, and Nasir Davis has never done anything short of that. Meanwhile, Deshaun Gray out of Keller, Texas. James Vick will be in his corner tonight, obviously a UFC legend in his own right. It's going to be interesting to see the stylistic clash because they're two guys cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, both of these guys have really good coaching. I'll talk a little bit about James Vick. James Vick really, obviously being a UFC vet, he kind of gives a blueprint and a game plan of how to get into the UFC. He even has a YouTube video about how to get in the UFC in 5 years, and it looks like that Davis might, or Gray might be on that path.
Going to be very interesting. We'll get some more of the intangibles and the statistics about them as they make the walk in a little bit of time. David, fact or fiction, Preston Carlson could jump up to pro following another flashy finish here tonight.
Ooh, that's a tricky one.
Do you think he's ready, I guess, is the actual question.
I think he could be ready, but he's 20 years old. I think that it really depends on what he sees as his future. If he really wants to be ready to rock and roll and get the 6-fight, 7-fight win streak, be on a contender series, go to the UFC, it might be worth actually taking a little bit more time as an amateur, getting up to 5, maybe even 10 fights, or adding in different types of fights, whether it be Muay Thai, grappling tournaments, whatever it might be. But he probably can hang with the best of them at the pro division.
All right, medical staff has made their way back towards the cage. Mike's side will go to Jackson Hoops.
Have the doctor back at cage side, so let's keep this thing going. Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Che Brazilian Grill. They are a traditional gaucho grill where you get to try everything on the menu as many times as you want. Indulge in their fresh salads, hot side dishes, and authentic desserts. Then visit their gauchos for your fresh carved meat and take in the phenomenal experience of having the freedom to choose what to eat and when to eat it. Treat yourself to an incredible feast with an unmatched experience tailored to your preferences at Che Brazilian Grill. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Deshaun Gray and then Nasir Davis to the cage.
Not many can move like him. Here is Deshaun Gray. David, he throws kicks like they're jabs and keeps his foot on the pedal for the entirety of the fight.
Yeah, he has a variety of experience. We were talking earlier about how James Vick kind of has that blueprint to make it to the UFC. One of the things that he requires of his students is to be doing MMA, kickboxing, and Muay Thai fights.
2-0 in Muay Thai, 1-0 in kickboxing, a 3-1 amateur record between the years of 2023 and 2024. And David, that leads into this point that he is a fast learner, according to his teammates. Only been competing in MMA since September of last year.
That is crazy. Just over a year and he's a pro. Makes me look like a slow learner.
Deshaun Gray, we'll see if he uses his length to his advantage. He will have a 4-inch height advantage. Don't ever get the measurements on the reach here at Fierce Fighting Championship, but it will be interesting to see if that poses any sort of a challenge for the Vegas fighter as Deshaun Gray continues to make his way towards the cage.
That is actually a very intriguing thing because Nasir, his opponent, is normally the person with the reach advantage, is what it looks like. So I am curious to see how Nasir kind of reacts to Deshaun having that length and reach, but once again, everyone has a puncher's chance.
Deshaun Gray, all of his kickboxing and Muay Thai bouts have been won by TKO. Looking to keep that trend alive as MMA, he has one submission win, one decision win, as well as a KO. Flashy as can be as he makes his way into the pro debut.
He reminds me of is it Alex Caceres? Yeah, a little bit of that kung fu style. I mean, the afro helps too, but just really flowy in there.
Well, the pro debut was promised next. Here we are with Nasir Davis. David, in July, it was a 15-minute war zone where he came out victorious, making history in the process.
That was one of the craziest amateur fights I think I've ever seen. It was very impressive. And props to his opponent, Jackson, that night. Phenomenal fighter, too. Both of those guys put on a war in Price.
If it's worth anything, by a mile, my fight of the year, and we have had so many incredible showings throughout 2024, but it belongs to the man who came out on top, Nasir Davis, former and first ever and only Fierce FC double champion at both flyweight and bantamweight as an amateur, now makes that step up. It seems like he's been ready for a while.
Yeah, I mean, you never know who else could do that in the future, but he is dominant. I mean, he was the #1 ranked bantamweight in the state of Utah. Obviously, he's training out of Vegas at Syndicate with some amazing pro fighters. I know he rolls around with Marab and some other people, so he's a tough dude.
Yeah, speaking of UFC talent, UFC title challenger Khalil Roundtree, I had the chance to talk to him when he was in Salt Lake City, and he had very high praise for this 21-year-old as he makes his way into etching his name into the pro ranks. Let's go ahead and pull up that tale of the tape presented by Prime Labs for this professional bantamweight bout between Nasir Davis and Deshaun Gray. Gray, 4 years senior, also will tower over the former champion, standing 6 feet tall, 4 inches taller than Nasir Davis. Davis did miss weight last night by half a pound at 136.5. Deshaun Gray tipping right in the confines at 136. Pro debuts on both sides. However, we will note the 7-2 amateur record of Davis and the 3-1 amateur record of Deshaun Gray. David, you said it yourself, People's main event is upon us. We'll get you primed for it with Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Che Brazilian Grill. This fight is a professional bantamweight bout scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyusted. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, making his professional debut. He stands 6 feet tall and weighing in at 136 pounds. Fighting out of Peak Performance MMA, hailing from Fort Worth, Texas. Fierce fans, make some noise for Deshaun the Dog Gray. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also making his professional debut. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighing in above the contracted weight at 136.5 pounds. Fighting out of Syndicate MMA, hailing from Las Vegas, Nevada. Fierce fans, make some noise for the former Fierce Fighting Championship flyweight and amateur bantamweight champion, Nasir, the real deal, Davis.
Special striker out of Las Vegas, Nasir Davis, rocking the red gloves, following suit is Deshaun Gray in the blue. This bantamweight bout is brought to you by Che Brazilian Grill, a delicious Brazilian grill presenting rustic flavors with an unlimited menu. Che Brazilian Grill, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the range of this fight with Gray being so long. I mean, 6 feet tall at bantamweight. That's Sean O'Malley level.
Lots of offense early on by both as forecasted.
Great front kick from Gray.
Nasir Davis reached a little bit for that one, but also got out of the way of Gray's attack with that leg kick.
Yeah, Nasir and his teammate earlier, they're just so disciplined. Always kind of staying in the pocket, just outside of reach when they throw their punch and then coming back. It's very impressive technique.
Battling to the body is Davis, gets a couple of oohs and ahs from the Mountain America Center crowd. And right back to it is an echoing shot by Gray.
Yeah, I think this is going to be great double leg. I think this is going to be a battle between using the reach of Gray to kind of getting in the pocket with Davis, which is unconventional for him, but Davis has the power to really do some damage in that pocket.
Both pros able to debut the elbows if they so choose. Nasir Davis putting on some pressure up against the cage. Haven't seen it just yet, but will be interested to see if he puts that into his mixed and deep bag of attacks.
Just went for it right there. Beautiful technique from Gray. Just very smooth kicks. The other thing that you wonder, going from amateur to pro, that's 9 minutes of cage time to 15. So it really does change the dynamic of the fight.
And I will mention this as well. Nasir Davis did go a full 15 versus Jackson de Gray.
True.
Given that all-out war that he had in Price, Utah back in July.
Yep.
Lots of love for Nasir Davis. He has been able to conjure up a crowd of fans. Head kick finish!
Amazing.
Nasir Davis punctuates the pro debut with a flashy finish. There's nothing quite like this guy. He lights up the Fierce cage like no one else can.
I'm speechless right now. I have no reaction to that. And Gray's freaking out in the corner because he did not think that was a good stoppage, but, man, he was out. Watch him drop.
This replay is brought to you by Willie's Distillery.
Yeah, watch him drop right here. I think Nasir just kind of had him getting him comfortable, and then all of a sudden comes up with that kick right here. Watch this. Boom. And notice how he uses his left hand. He throws the left hand to the left side kick. That is a very advanced kickboxing technique. Something of the likes of a Leon Edwards would use that. So very talented.
He is such a special talent, and we're just lucky to be able to witness it. The growth and the build-up. Pro debut. Good to go for Nasir Davis. Deshaun Gray brought the fight, though, David. Without a doubt, a tough matchup for him.
Yeah. And both of these guys, honestly, very, very talented.
All right, with that, we're going to make it official with Jackson Hoops.
Minutes and 10 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO, Nasir, the real deal, Davis.
As sick as can be, Nasir Davis. You got it done again, this time as a pro. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, it's all right.
I believe we have the replay. We want to have you walk us through it because it was such a spectacular exchange.
This is all credit to Coach Max. He was telling me he backs up, looking for that lead kick when I'm done with punching. Yeah.
I can't remember the last time you had that emphatic of a head kick. That being said, has that been in your bag for a long time?
Okay, so I've always wanted a head kick knockout, but this fight I was like, dude, this dude's taller than me. I gotta knock him out with a punch. But like Coach Max, he told me the exact thing. He told me the exact perfect thing I needed to hear. So credit to him. I really wasn't thinking about it until he said it, so it was there.
You and Deshaun Gray are very much so cut from the same cloth stylistically. How much were you prepared for that, and did he surprise you in here tonight?
That's why I wanted to fight Deshaun Gray, because that's how good I am. It's because Deshaun Gray is straight up one of the best strikers. He's a pro now, but he's one of the best amateur strikers in the country. So that's why I wanted to fight him, because I knew I just wanted to show that I'm on a different level.
Remember this man's name, ladies and gentlemen, Nasir Davis.
In cutting weight, you lose more than just pounds. You lose vital hydration.
Rush Hydro helps me get back in peak condition after sweat loss leaves me depleted.
It was specifically engineered for athletes like myself who need quick hydration recovery. This drink has a special ingredient, cluster dextrin, which is formulated to help my body retain electrolytes, use them more efficiently, and support lasting energy.
When it feels like a race to rehydrate, Rush Hydro helps me perform my best.
Try hydration redefined at rushhydro.com.
Come on, check this out. Check this out.
Scan the QR code on your screen right now for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. Well, Nasir Davis lives up to the hype. David, I am absolutely speechless at the ceiling that this guy has.
In my notes, preparing for this, I put future star, and that could not be more evident after that knockout. That was crazy. And not only that, but the dude was 6 feet tall, and he still got it using technique.
Cannot wait for what the future holds, as impressive as can be, as we continue on here with a couple more pros waiting in the back. Thomas Boyer, Chris Chu will bring him out with Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is sponsored by Watkins Distributing. Their goal is to add value to the products and services they provide by being the beverage category expert in their markets. They deliver the best with the best at Watkins Distributing. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome Chris Chu, then Thomas Boyer to the cage.
Come one, come all, always accepting another fight is Chris Chu. David, one-way traffic opposite of his favor in September, but getting back on the horse in immediacy with pro walk number 4 here tonight.
I was so impressed with Chris Chu. I know he lost his last fight. It was pretty rough, if I'm being completely honest, but to see him come back in this cage, I have so much respect for him. He is probably the toughest MMA fighter in Fierce Fighting Championship history.
It's either him or Jerome Hatch, right? Yeah. It's one of the two. Granite chins contained between the two of them. And Chris Chu, he's averaging a fight every 35 days since August 3rd. 105 days, 3 fights in that span.
And he's such a tough opponent. I mean, I don't know how you prepare for someone that just keeps walking forward. He's essentially our Korean Zombie. This dude is unstoppable. You have to put him out if you're going to win.
It'll be interesting to see Chris Chu at this weight class. This is the heaviest he has ever been. Some may say that was the right move given how much weight he was cutting to get to 185 pounds.
Yeah, I think that was a big factor in his last fight. I think he's going to be a lot healthier for this one and ready to go.
All right, a step up set for Lionheart MMA's newest pro, Thomas Boyer. David, over 3 years since his last walk. Might be some cobwebs to shake off coming into the pro debut.
Yeah, but this dude is real tough, and he used to be a heavyweight fighting the likes of Kent Mafaleo, Mason Moyes, who was supposed to be on this card. This dude is real tough, and I'm excited to watch this fight.
We'll see if this is significant, but he is unbeaten in Idaho, 2-0. We'll see if that holds any home field advantage for Boyer tonight.
I'm telling you, this Idaho Falls crowd, they really do play a part in these fights. It's going to be exciting to see how the crowd reacts if he gets some big wins and strikes here.
Fun fact, already in the 4th show that we've been here at the Mountain America Center, this is by far the most successful Idaho fighters have been at Fierce Fighting Championship. I am hoping that the masses here love it at the Mountain America Center. Let's go ahead and pull up that tail of the tape for this professional light heavyweight bout between Thomas Boyer and Chris Chu. Identical in age and height at 31 and 6'1". Boyer tipped the scales last night at 204 pounds, Chu at 205.5. Boyer to make his debut. We will note his 6-3 amateur career from 2018 to 2021. Chris Chu, a little bit longer in the tooth with a record of 2-1.
Fierce fans, this fight is sponsored by Watkins Distributing. This fight is a professional light heavyweight bout scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Tyler Tomlinson. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding a professional record of 2 wins and 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighing at 205 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Morey Training Center, hailing from Salt Lake City, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Chris Chu. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, making his professional debut. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighed in at 204 pounds. Fighting out of Team Lionheart MMA, hailing from parts unknown. Fierce fans, make some noise for Thomas the Bomb Boyer.
Pro debut for Thomas Boyer in the red gloves. Chris Chu challenges in the blue. This light heavyweight bout is brought to you by Watkins Distributing. With over 30 years in the game, Watkins Distributing puts your business first. Watkins Distributing, an official sponsor of Fierce FC. David, not seeing quite the size discrepancy that you might think, given the fact that Chris Chu made 185 pounds about 62 days ago.
I was thinking the exact same thing. It almost looks like Chu was the heavyweight and Boyer was the, middleweight. But both of these guys look healthy at this weight. That's, as a fighter, that's what really matters to me. You don't want to be too lean.
Looping shots.
Yeah, Chu just has this style of coming forward. Nothing really deterring him. Oh, great elbow from Boyer, though.
Boyer buckled a little bit by the body shot of Chu.
Yeah, this is kind of where Chu fights a lot of his fights. The Cole Schaefer fight was often fought here as well.
Chasing the back now, maybe initiating a little bit of grappling is Chris Chu. That is his primary attack.
I mean, his muscles are popping out of the screen. He is so strong. It's difficult to... I couldn't even imagine wrestling this guy.
Winding shots by Chu, a little bit less dialed in than we've seen in the past, but power is certainly there when he does throw them, just looking to land them more than anything, David.
Yeah, I wonder if being at 205, it really helps his cardio too, potentially. Just, having a little more weight, a little more energy inside of you, it might help his muscles too.
Well, he was sent to the hospital immediately after that fight in the main event in September, but told us he was completely fine and he was more so just exhausted over anything else. It was the heart rate that sent him in the ambulance.
Yeah, my coach Court was watching him. He was close to 190. It was crazy, but I'm happy to see him back here doing well.
Boyer on the bottom. Chris Chu able to swing his way over to the top and able to slow down the fight a bit, just about 2 minutes in to this first round.
Yeah, Chris Chu really, he kind of is like a little Randy Couture in a sense, where he really gets to that half guard position. He's grinding people on the cage, using more upper wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling to get position, and his grip strength is nasty strong.
Thomas Boyer fishing for the neck, but not in a prime position to really put anything together, more so on his side over anything.
And I'm curious how Boyer's going to react to being a pro now. Making sure that, he can stay for a full 5 minutes, really active. I mean, right here he's kind of stuck, so he might be able to recover a bit and then come out.
A little bit of isolation on that left arm, moving up towards the ear of Boyer. Chris Chu slow cooking right now in Idaho Falls.
This is tight. You could kind of see it on Boyer's face. It was getting real tight. Look how Chu, he's a little bit high, but he's still getting the
There it is!
submission.
Chris Chu squeezes for another first-round submission win.
That was phenomenal. Just the strength of Chu on that submission. Did it from the mount.
What a way to come back in September. It looked as though people were saying, do not come back, take a long layoff. He's right back to it a few months later and looks as good as ever.
Chris Chu, he's proven a lot of people wrong right now. Myself included, thought that he needed a big, break, needed to recover, but he's back in there ready to go. Just one. I mean, he's fought like triple the amount of other people this year. Just crazy.
One in April in the pro debut versus Jesse Salmon. Another fight in August, September, and closes out November with another win. Who knows? We might see this guy December 13th.
Dude, he might be on the same card as me. You never know. And then in Orem or wherever else.
Chris Chu, 205 pounds, looks good on him. We're going to go ahead and make it official with Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, referee Tyler Tomlinson has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes 45 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by submission due to head and arm choke. Out of the blue corner, Chris Chu!
Chris Chu, you continue to surprise us. A quick turnaround after a tough loss, and you look as good as ever. How'd you feel in there tonight?
I had a lot to prove, but I'm just the same. Just wanted to show my skills.
How did you feel at 205 pounds? Because your previous fights have been at 170 and 185. You go up, but you look as strong as you can be.
Much better. The recovery is just 10 times better for me.
Chu, do you have any family, friends, sponsors you want to give a thank you to?
My coaches were coming out, Eddie and Ryder, and my family who came out as well, and my training partners.
We'll see him again, most likely, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Chu.
Hey Fierce fans, Kimball Davis here with Prime Labs. We are now the official lab testing partner for all of Fierce Fighting Championships fighters. We provide a combat trio for all fighters across the Wasatch Front, as well as if you want to get in the best shape, like one of your favorite fighters, we provide many comprehensive blood panels. All you have to do is click on the link or text 385-645-7400.
Whether you're a fighter or just someone that wants to take charge of their own care and looking to address a lack of sleep, fat gain, or even muscle growth, Prime Labs has different panels for all financial situations. So please shoot us a text at 385-645-7400, scan the QR code, or please go to the website and come check us out.
Well, Chris Chu comes out victorious once again. I was exiting the cage, and I go over to Zach Partridge and I say, how can you not love this guy?
I mean, if you're a fan of Fierce Fighting Championship, you're a fan of Chris Chu. I mean, I'm over here. I'm almost choking up. I'm seeing his family and friends, and they're crying over there at his table. It's such an emotional thing. Fighting is literally life and death.
Well, and not only that, but you've got to think about the last fight too, right? Took so much damage, and the family might be thinking, why are you still doing this? Why do you do something like this? And he comes out and pulls off that performance.
Yeah, as someone with parents that do not like that I fight, it's crazy to just witness something like that and to see him win like that and have a smile on his face. He's a very stoic person. I mean, he's basically the Alex Pajera of our league over here, and just to see him have a smile, that was really amazing.
All right, couple more in the co-main event. Justin Horsley, Mark Coates. We'll bring him out with Jackson Hopes.
Bears fans, our co-main event of the evening is sponsored by Mountain Land Supply Company. They take pride in providing the best products to their customers while providing timely deliveries and always putting their customers' needs first. They look forward to the future as they constantly implement new systems and technologies to continue to grow and serve at Mountain Land Supply Company. Bears fans, make some noise and welcome our co-main event fighters to the cage, Mark Coates and then Justin Horsley.
Well, protecting the neck is vital versus a guy like Mark Coates. David, a long resume backs the 29-year-old who's already 20 fights in as a pro.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive to be that many fights in and still throwing those punches and getting those submissions. He's a really dynamic fighter. He's really dangerous everywhere.
Couple of wins by KO and decision, but 9 of them come by submission. 82% of his victories over the years. And David, a wild story here. 13 years into the fight game, he took his first amateur fight versus a 28-year-old man just 2 days after turning 16. He won that fight via triangle choke with no professional training.
That is crazy. And you know, I trained with a lot of high school kids, or, you know, sometimes a little bit older than that. Those kids are tough, man. You got to watch out. You got to protect your neck, especially if they've hit puberty.
Mark Coates fought a fair share of big names, but faced Sean O'Malley back in November of 2015.
No way.
Went the full time with the former UFC champion and claims he's the guy that beat him.
Wow, that is amazing. I didn't know. I mean, I knew he was a Bellator vet, but that's really cool. He definitely has some names on his resume for sure.
We'll have to see what the Sugar Sean Athletic Commission has to say about it, but Mark Coates claims to have gotten the win over him again back in November of 2015. A BJJ purple belt, up to my knowledge. Wasn't able to find anything deeper than that, but you've got to wonder, with 9 professional submission wins, it might even be higher than that.
So that's why his hair's purple. I understand now. Looks good.
All right, a long-awaited return for Justin Horsley. David, he's been itching to get back in there, just a day removed from a bout last month, but fell apart due to an injury from his opponent. Happy to have him here at Fierce Fighting Championship 35.
Yeah, I know it was a huge bummer when he couldn't fight last month. I don't know if you guys can hear, but this place is going wild for Justin Horsley, being a wrestling coach in his community, a fighter up here in Idaho. just amazing to see him get in the cage after a long layoff.
First fight in 4.5 years. And David, I know he's walking out to a special song by one of your former teammates, because I know that you two used to spend some time on the mat together.
Yeah, we were actually teammates in our high school wrestling club, Tech Wrestling, out in Bountiful. This song that's playing, the walkout song, is by Taylor Tovey, who is a rapper in the Salt Lake area and also one of our former teammates. And they're chanting his name right now. Like, this is a spectacle. Wow.
All right, let's go ahead and pull up that tale of the tape presented by Prime Labs. Professional featherweight bout in our co-main event between Mark Coates and Justin Horsley. 29 years old on both sides of this one. The slight height advantage will be in the corner of Coates. Horsley weighing in yesterday at 145 pounds. No issues on the scale for Mark Coates as well at 146. Horsley with a record of 2-1. A little bit more tread on the tires with Mark Coates making his 21st professional walk here tonight. Got the fans on their feet. Justin Horsley, one of the bigger names in the state of Idaho.
Wow.
Wrestling has been his life, also has been a boxer over the years, and David, the people love him.
Yeah, and this dude is a phenomenal athlete.
All right, we're going to go ahead and send it inside to Jackson Hooks.
Fierce fans, this is your co-main event of the evening, and it is sponsored by Mountain Land Supply Company. This fight is a professional featherweight bout scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds, and when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyasaid. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding a professional record of 11 wins and 9 losses. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighing in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of Arnett's Martial Arts America, hailing from Lewiston, Idaho. Fierce fans, make some noise for Mark Coates. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding a professional record of 2 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in at 145 pounds, fighting out of Top Dog Boxing and Full Force MMA, hailing from Burley, Idaho, by way of Bountiful, Utah. Fierce fans, make some noise for Justin Iron Horse Horsley.
Long layoff for the local Justin Horsley. In the red gloves, Mark Coates to answer back in the blue. This featherweight bout is brought to you by Mountain Land Supply Company, providing the best products and meeting customers' needs first. Mountain Land Supply Company, an official sponsor of Fierce FC. Quite the crowd on display here tonight. Again, Justin Horsley, first fight in 4.5 years.
Wow, already striking. No cobwebs over there.
Straight down the pipe, draws a reaction from Coates, but still right in his face is the fighter out of Lewistown, Idaho.
This is already becoming a barn burner up here in Idaho Falls.
Quick kick and a clean connection to the jaw moves Horsley back into the center of the cage.
The thing, I mean, for me that I'm looking for is the 3 pro fights versus 20. And although Justin has had some boxing with Top Rank and some other experience, that's a big difference in experience. Calling him out already.
Nice shot straight towards the chin of Coates and able to make him lose focus for just a minute, but right back. Just about a minute in. Clocking shots on both sides, David. We got a fight on hand.
This is wild in the first round. Yeah, Justin has that wrestling too he can use, but he needs to be careful because Coates can submit him.
Justin Horsley, a collegiate wrestler and now a high school wrestling coach over at Delco High School here in Idaho. A lot of his wrestlers, I should say, I don't want to say athletes or students, but a lot of his athletes here in his support tonight as you hear them echo through the Mountain America Center.
Yeah. Yeah, just to see the community that's around Justin and, you know, up here in Idaho, this is really cool to watch. I think it goes to show the type of person that Justin is and the community he's built around him at his school.
Got a bit of blood dripping down from the left eyebrow, but a stifling shot moves Coates down to the canvas, and a quick smile between the two.
Justin put those hands down ready to go. But you got to assume Coates is used to this stuff.
Mark Coates been knocked out twice in his career. Last fight was finished. That was back in March of 2024.
Oh, wow.
Big thudding shot right down the middle in favor of Horsley.
These guys are staring each other right in the face. It's intense.
Swinging shots.
Okay.
Out with the advantage once again is Horsley.
You can see the blood kind of going in that his left eye. Coates, I would really be throwing on that right side of his to make sure that he can kind of take advantage of it.
Certainly impairing the vision of the burly Idaho fighter. Mark Coates still calculated in his output, not jumping the gun by any means.
And Coates is doing a great job of showing those fakes. It's just he's doing it a little bit too much at times.
Still eating shots on both sides. Mark Coates has also connected very nicely.
Yeah, it looks like he's really putting some damage on that eyebrow of Horsley. Something to be said about being a vet.
"29 years old, began fighting at 16 as a cluster of combinations land for Horsley."
That's 50% of his life, man. Half his life he's been an amazing fighter.
More blood coming down from that left eye, but seems to be going outside of the actual eyelid itself. When it starts to impair the vision, that's where it gets scary, David.
Yeah, it gets really difficult. I mean, imagine trying to throw punches at someone with one eye. It's tough. Oh, beautiful pull and return. That was a great straight punch. An excellent return from Coates.
Right back in for the blitz is Mark Coates. The two featherweights bark back and forth at each other.
Yeah, I think Justin, he's getting his shots off, but then Coates is just coming straight back. He's not giving him any time to recover. Coates doing a great job there. I feel like Coates does a really good job diversifying some of his combos as well. Really, really impressive from both of these guys.
Showing the high fight IQ as both fighters battle back and forth for position.
A part of me felt like this could become a grappling fight, but I was wrong.
Striker's delight, as we've been seeing a lot through this main card. Final seconds here, round one, as Horsley lands another weighty shot.
Wow. We got a fight on our hands.
A little bit of love between the two, and Idaho loves this.
Yeah, this is wild.
We've been talking a lot about Justin Horsley and the success he's been having, but Mark Coates by no means is out of this fight. In fact, he is very much so in the fight. We might see some split scorecards, David.
I honestly, that was a tough one to call because, Justin, he got these very pivotal moments and would hit him. Obviously, he's struggling, though, with the eye being damaged a bit. But Coates, he really did get some strikes in, too.
That's a deep cut over the left eyelid. We mentioned that it's rounding its way outside of the eyeball, but not a good spot to have a cut going into a second round.
And you got people commission looking really close.
Justin Horsley out of Top Dog Boxing in Burley, Idaho. We saw Anthony Castro light up the Masonic Temple just 8 days ago, and continuing to do so is Horsley as Mark Coates smiles back at him for another fresh five.
Yeah, this is a fiery fight. Both these guys talking to each other. I think Horsley, he's antagonizing Coates, and if Coates can just stay very disciplined, I think it's going to benefit him, besides getting, emotional with the crowd and everything else going on around him.
Horsley looked for the kill shot. Coates got out of the way.
Yeah, Horsley's got to be careful. He doesn't want to be too predictable with those big punches. But they are landing.
Investing in the body is Horsley. David, you would never think this guy hasn't made the walk in nearly half a decade.
No, this, like I was saying earlier, this guy is a phenomenal athlete. When we were in high school, we would do conditioning and wrestling, and he was tough to keep up with. Such an animal, such an athlete.
Looking for another finishing blow was that uppercut. Both fighters miss, but it's a game of inches right now, and we're on pins and needles, David.
Yeah, everyone is just on the edge of their seat right now. Oh, beautiful combo from Coates. He's doing really well with that hook to the cross. I've noticed he's hit that a few times on Horsley. Horsley should probably think about keeping that left hand up.
Horsley able to get his head out of the way and retreat from the oncoming attack from Coates, but still more coming from the tenured veteran.
You know, up to this point, I would say the striking's been fairly even, but it's different. You know, Justin lands these big shots just like that, but Coates, he's kind of inching his way back in.
Horsley bites down on another! Face first into the canvas! Justin Horsley hits the sweet spot here in Idaho Falls!
Wow, the crowd is going wild after that one.
Justin Horsley back like he never left. Finishing blow closes it out. David, let's take another look at it.
That was the resurrection of a career right there. Holy smokes. Okay, let's watch this. So as I was saying, it's kind of a game of inches. They were inching back and forth, and then all of a sudden hits him with the right hand, left hand, and then back to the right for the finish. Dropped him like it was hot.
Justin Horsley. Chants of Iron Horse echo through the walls. And we've got another big name back at the top of featherweight. Let's go ahead and take a look at it one more time before we head over to the official decision. Again, this replay is brought to you by Willie's Distillery.
Yeah, I think that boxing has definitely been beneficial for his fight game. Started as a wrestler, but there you go.
Anthony Castro last week, Justin Horsley this week. Top Dog Boxing and Burley, Idaho. Got a couple of dogs up there.
Yeah, well, I know where I'm making a trip. Definitely going up to Burley.
All right, we're going to go ahead and make this one official with Jackson Hoops.
Contest at 2 minutes and 5 seconds of the second round, declaring the winner by TKO, Justin Iron Horse Horsley.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to give you a second to appreciate Justin Horsley. Justin, 4.5 years, and it looks like you haven't skipped a beat. What was tonight like for you?
It was everything I dreamed of. You know, it's so weird stepping back into the cage and seeing everybody cheer for you. And it's all my wrestlers that are here for me. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, for these wrestlers. Declo Wrestling, where you at? Where you at?
What does it mean to you to have so many people here in support of you, what you do for the community, and now maybe a recharged fighting career?
I'm so blessed. I'm blessed. Thank God every single day for this. I thank my guardian angels for helping me, making me a likable person. And I love you guys.
Justin, any family, friends, sponsors you want to give a thank you to?
Absolutely. I want to thank my teammates first at Top Dog Boxing and Full Force MMA, my coaches, Pete Nunes, Hector Castro, and one of my best buddies ever, Anthony Castro here. One of my best buddies ever who made me that dope walkout song. Tato's in the house tonight. Make sure you say hi to Tato. I got Good Motor who helps me with everything. Elite Fitness, Burley Physical Therapy, Burley Tractor and Salvage. Thank you, Eldon Adams. I know you're in the house. JJ's Auto Shine, Banks Equipment and Repair, and Knockout Taxes with Polson and Catmull CPAs, baby.
One more time, Idaho Falls, Justin Horsley.
It's got to pour it on here.
On the ropes is Atmet. There's a photogenic finish for Kent Mafileo. One of the top talents in the entire state of Utah is back in a big way.
Impressive performance.
First strike finishes the fight. Mark Gonzalez.
This is the Kent Mafileo that we missed.
But that might be the thing that separates it. It's a close fight.
Go!
Well, we've been here 4 times at the Mountain America Center as we're rounding third on Fierce Fighting Championship 35. One more to go, but I don't think I've ever seen a reaction from the crowd quite like Justin Horsley.
Man, I think for now on, Justin Horsley is the main event in Idaho Falls, and we're taking a bus from Utah of fans from all over the state to watch him. That was amazing.
Might want to pitch Zach Partridge on that one. Seems like a good idea to me. We got a main event waiting as we turn inside. We'll go to Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, this is your main event, and it is sponsored by Build Your Fortress. They build high-quality, energy-efficient homes that prioritize sustainability for homeowners and more efficient building processes for builders. High-performance panels by Build Your Fortress reduce labor costs up to 60%, offering greener living with a smaller carbon footprint, superior comfort, and enhanced indoor air quality. Building smarter, living better, high-performance panels by Build Your Fortress. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome our final 2 fighters, Daviante Jones and then Luis Cortez to the cage.
All right, familiar face after some time away, back to the Fierce cage is Daviante Jones. David, he fell short nearly 2 years ago in Salt Lake City opposite Zeke Latu, looking to get back in the win column over a 10-year veteran.
Yeah, he's fought a lot of really, really tough guys, honestly, and I know his record might not seem like it, but this is a dangerous man. His opponent better be ready to go every moment.
And David, we really got to talk about that 30-second stare down between him and Luis Cortez last night. Really built the intensity for this one.
Yeah, the heavyweights, when they get in that cage, it's all business. Very, very scary individuals. I definitely am grateful that I am like 135 pounds.
Well, it will be interesting. We'll talk about it more with the tail of the tape, but he will be 27.5 pounds lighter than Luis Cortez. Came in yesterday at 238 pounds, but cool as a cucumber as he makes his way towards the cage for his second Fierce appearance is Daviante Jones.
Yeah, and at heavyweight, sometimes that can be a beneficial thing. Sometimes he can be faster and, a lot quicker and more athletic, and sometimes that can be a detriment in the strength department. So we'll have to wait and see.
Neither heavyweight in this main event have gone to a second round since 2016. Daviante Jones brings the fight for the fans as he awaits for Luis Cortez. Seeking a strike in the win column, enter Luis Cortez. David, he's dropped 6 straight, but all to stiff competition in that process.
Yeah, he's obviously kind of on that skid, but this dude will stand up and throw with the best of them. He has very quick hands for a heavyweight. I would be very concerned if I was fighting him.
Luis Cortez historically likes to start hot. He opened up with some head kicks last time out versus Zeke Latu, and some may say that's the best he's looked in years.
Yeah, versus Zeke and Cam, he really did look good. It's just, this is a game of inches, and sometimes they're an inch ahead.
Talking to Luis Cortez yesterday, he did say that he cut weight to make heavyweight. A couple of sauna sessions to shed the final pounds. And for the final time tonight, here's your tale of the tape, presented by Prime Labs for this professional heavyweight bout. 37 years old in both corners tonight, Luis Cortez and Daviante Jones. Jones does have the large height edge, standing 4 inches taller than the local Idaho fighter. Again, Cortez tipping the scales at 265 pounds. 27.5 pounds lighter will be Daviante Jones at 238. Cortez with a record of 5-10. Jones with a record of 1-4. And David, I did have to ask him yesterday at weigh-ins because it was 265.5. Hey, did you have to cut to get there? Because if that's the case, he might be 275 in there.
Yeah, he might be a big boy. I'm grateful that we're in the big cage and it's strong. I'm really excited to see what he can do, and I really want to see him stand his ground, honestly, because he's so good with his boxing. I want to see it against Mr. Jones tonight.
We have seen some spectacular striking from Luis Cortez. His last win was 2,600 days ago, but all of his wins have come by knockout. Same can be said about Daviante Jones. We got a good one. Here's Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, this is your main event. This fight is sponsored by Build Your Fortress. This fight is a professional heavyweight bout scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Tyler Tomlinson. Now, one more time, I need everybody tuning into the pay-per-view. And everybody here inside the Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls, Idaho, from the upper suites to the arena seats, all the way down to cage side, put your hands together and make some noise! Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding a professional record of 1 win and 4 losses. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighing at 238 pounds. Fighting out of Kami House MMA, hailing from Parker, Arizona, by way of Chicago, Illinois. Fierce fans, make some noise for Daviante King Kong Jones. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding a professional record of 5 wins and 10 losses. He stands 6 feet tall and weighing at 265.5 pounds. Fighting out of Guerrilla Unit MMA, hailing from Idaho Falls, Idaho. Make some noise for Luis, the Mexican Hawk Cortez.
Pro fight in the main event, okay? We've gone over the new rules that were adjusted in November 1st, okay? Protect yourself at all times. Let's obey my commands at all times. If you do not protect yourself, I will stop the fight. Do you guys have any questions? Touch gloves if you want. Back up.
Idaho's own Luis Cortez, laced in the red gloves. Daviante Jones counters in the blue. This heavyweight main event is brought to you by Build Your Fortress. Building smarter, living better with your energy-efficient home. Build Your Fortress, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Here's a question for you, Blake.
Yes, sir.
You think this is going the distance?
Absolutely zero chance. Neither of these fighters have seen stools in 8 years. So that being said, I think we're going to see a knockout within the next couple of minutes. And right into the action is Cortez. Front-footed fighter is Daviante Jones, sent to the mat for the first time tonight.
No, it's good to see Cortez using some of that wrestling. He's such a big guy. I mean, being just at the weight limit, definitely use that weight to your advantage.
Luis Cortez, always a fast starter, eats a knee to the gut by Jones as that one echoed through the mics.
Great knee from Jones. And he needs to focus on getting off the cage, but yeah, definitely pepper him with those in the meantime.
Davionte Jones, also a professional boxer.
I'm excited to see some of that potentially tonight.
Last boxing match was in May of 2023, so put on the big gloves more recently than the MMA rule set with the small gloves.
Yeah, if I'm Jones, I want to get off this cage. Yeah, I know they're kind of spinning around, but get off this cage and start throwing. If I'm Cortez, we need to progress from this position. He's kind of just stagnant, pushing him on the cage. We need to go back to the single leg or to the body lock and get him down.
Such a solid foundation for Cortez. He's been able to remain the aggressor.
He just hit him in the thigh. Pretty sure he did. But Jones is doing a great job from this position, just kind of, he might as well stay here because he's not using a lot of energy and he's still able to do strikes.
Bruising inside knee to the thigh of Jones, bids for it again, misses a little bit more that time, but a knee up the middle for Jones as Cortez makes him pay for it.
Yeah, that was a big double leg right there, and that's exactly what Cortez needed. He was starting to get hit pretty hard, but he was able to suck those hips in and get on top. Now, he has potentially 270 pounds on top of him right now. Hopefully Jones can defend.
Luis Cortez making his way over to mount.
Right to the mount.
Again, all wins by KO or TKO for the heavyweight. But it's been a little bit of time. August 18th, 2017 seems to be in a good spot to pull something off right now.
Yeah, this is not a good place for Jones. He really needs to be using that cage. The longer he waits, the heavier those hips sink, and this might be over soon.
Luis Cortez rolling downhill. Tyler Tomlinson calls it. 2,647 days. Luis Cortez back in the win column.
And Idaho prevails tonight.
Luis Cortez turns back the clock and gets the Idaho fans back on their feet, hooting and hollering for a reason, David.
I'm really impressed with his wrestling. His film shows a lot more striking, and he does wrestle too, but that was a great performance. Just being able to pull that double leg in, smash him down to the ground, and finish with the ground and pound.
Davionte Jones back on his feet. Just a couple of weighty shots in a very compromised position, and that man gets his first win in quite some time.
Yeah, after the skid he was on, being able to come back like that, it's truly inspiring to see fighters come back from so many losses. Very impressed with Cortez tonight.
Idaho Falls has got to love their guy, Luis Cortez. Final time tonight. Looks like we're just about ready to make it official. Here's Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, one more time this evening, referee Tyler Thomason has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes and 43 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO out of Idaho Falls, Idaho, Luis, the Mexican Hawk, Cortez.
Luis Cortez, 8 years since you have gotten your hand raised. That has got to feel good.
It feels very good, especially at home, in my backyard.
What was it like fighting here in front of these fans? It's been a couple of walks that you have fought here at the Mountain America Center, but now you come out victorious. Does it feel better? Obviously it does.
Hell yeah.
Luis, anything specific that Davionte Jones brought to the fight that maybe you weren't expecting or something that you were looking forward to seeing?
No, I expected pretty much everything that happened. Tall, long, got to get on the inside, take him down.
Was the goal to wrestle with him?
Somewhat.
Luis, you've been a tenured veteran here in Idaho for so long, a face of this state when it comes to this sport. What do you want next?
Anybody.
Any family, friends, sponsors you want to give a thank you to?
Ramon, turn around. I want to thank the Rotten Apple, Vasco's Restaurant, the Rocky Bean, I can't read, Indie Cuts, Imperial Cleaning, Snake River Concrete, and Rudy, I can't see, Rude Dog's Garage, and my baby Mara.
Nothing quite like it, ladies and gentlemen, Luis Cortez.
Fierce fans, remember this date. Friday the 13th in December, we will be at the Temple in Salt Lake City, Utah. If you guys want a sweet card, get online, get your tickets, drive down and hang out with us in Salt Lake City, Utah. Idaho Falls, you guys have been fantastic. Thanks for an amazing evening. Make some noise!
Well, what a show it has been. Blake O'Rulian alongside David Kim for this post-fight show presented by Bet Openly. David, good vibes, great show, fun for the Idaho fans, and a great showing by so many incredible athletes.
Yeah, I just checked my phone, and there was actually an earthquake here tonight in Idaho Falls, right at the Mountain America Center. It was awesome, guys.
Had me worried there for a second. I was like, what did we miss?
No, I mean, it was the double leg smashing down. It was really, really amazing. So just a great show overall. Such talent on this show, too. It's amazing to see some of these amateurs look like they could be in the UFC or the PFL. Just so much talent on the card tonight.
Justin Horsley, Nasir Davis, Ole Mihov all fly off the film. It was such a fun one. David, I'm sure you feel the same sentiment.
Yeah, it was crazy to see just the talent. I mean, Nasir Davis with that head kick. Justin Horsley, a freak athlete, just using his power to just finish that fight. And I mean, just so many. There were so many. Yeah, Mihov was so good as well. And even earlier, we had a couple really good guys. Nikola was phenomenal with his strikes too.